just went out. I don't think that was Google Hangout. I think that's my health.
Dude, I don't. Were you? Did you ever hear about my ear surgery?
No.
Were you in Valdosta when that happened?
No.
Did you ever go to Five Hole?
No.
In North Florida. I mean, like it's like where the real rednecks reside. Straight up Florida Goonies, you know, jorts and everything that they talk about. There's hundreds of them there.
Wait, they said what did they talk about?
That's just where they all live.
Oh, I thought you said jorts, like jean shorts.
Yeah, you know, like everyone there is wearing jorts. Like, it's this freshwater spring that opens up into the Swanee River, and it's called Five Hole because there's 5 giant holes in the ground for this freshwater spring.
Of course, just like Coffee County and Bacon.
Yeah. 5 holes, dude. It's called 5 holes.
It got 5 holes. What do we call it? What do you think, Jimbo?
But to get from one hole to the next, you have to swim underwater at an angle like this where you can't hear or see the person with her on the other side.
So is it like spelunking?
Yeah, it's basically cave diving, spelunking.
Fuck that.
But the water's crystal clear, and you know you can see every aspect of that. And then as soon as it hits the Swanee River, it just turns into like this brown orange diarrhea river, and it merges seamlessly into that. But I think that's where my ears got infected after I had already ruptured them at the beach like a week or two before, and I had to get a tympanoplasty. They literally cut my entire right ear off and folded it over.
Jesus fuck.
And they took a graft from the side of my neck and made me a new eardrum. And I went into the surgery, like I didn't do any like pre-research, like what a tympanoplasty was, or I was like, oh yeah, it's just like casual surgery. It's like I broke my arm, except I broke my ear. And it was like a 2.5-hour surgery. And I was like down for the count for like 2 weeks. You know, just I sat in the chair and took hydrocodone and watched SpongeBob and, you know, getting shit for 2 weeks.
Dude, that was like my, that was like, or not like, I guess it's like in that. Hold on. Have I ever showed you this thing?
That was a bot.
What? Yeah. No, it looks like something out of fucking Dumbledore's office.
Well, I mean, it's like temperature changes and, you know, it rises up.
Yeah.
I saw it in the Zendin 2.0 video.
Yeah. And I just remember it's like you're not supposed to, because like the clear fluid's methanol.
Right.
But then all
it's gotta be something lighter than water.
Yeah, all the colored stuff are different things, but I know that they're like cancerous. And I remember when we bought it, it was like don't break it. And I'm like looking at it now, and it was shipped up with all my stuff from Georgia. And I'm realizing all the little teardrop things it's sitting in.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like the top of each one's broken off, and I've been sitting in here with it for a while. I think the overall case is still...
I mean, I think toxic if you drink, not toxic if you're in the same vicinity.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think that... I mean, it's like a lava lamp. Like, you know, don't drink it and you'll be okay.
Well, I mean, dude, I still don't know how to tie a tie, so remember.
Basics.
I'm treading.
Bleach on the feet. Yeah, there we go.
I found another thing. Speaking of tying the tie, the folder I got from my interview at USC.
USC, there. I'm got the game on right now. They're playing UCLA.
Yeah. Remember how I had the taxi driver tie my tie?
Yeah.
I forgot how much of an adult I am because when I got my rejection letter, I went and grabbed the folder back in Athens, and it says University of Southern California. I just remember I was drunk and I was sad, and I wrote, sucks. Right under it. Yeah, I wouldn't go there anyway. You know Joey Diaz, the comedian, he said that like when he used to like bomb, he used to like go back to his hotel room and like do a bunch of coke, and he'd like circle the names of these little places and be like, you know, like, I'm gonna fucking come back here one day when I'm famous, like they'll all see. And I guess in my mind I was like when I'm a professional doctor, when I'm the best, and
I'm a doctor, and you want me to come practice in your city.
When you need me, no, you'll never need me. Here's my plane ticket from that day.
Nice, man.
Yeah, man.
In the folder.
Yeah, it's a piece of history, I guess, because that was the
It's
like
a blue book for an ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say that was the day the only TSA agent that's ever been killed was killed, and that was at LAX.
Who the hell would kill a TSA agent?
November 1st, 2013. Some dude walked in with an AR-15 and started open fire, kind of where I landed the day before and where I left the day after.
Right.
That was
somewhere between. Yeah.
Remember, that's when I realized I wasn't getting into LA. The first thing like I said to you the other time, the first moment I realized I wasn't going to get into USC is as soon as I landed and I got off the plane and the weather was perfect and the girls were hot and I just, nope, it's not going to work.
This is too good.
Too fucking good. And the second time was when I was sitting there that morning with everyone trying to make small talk. And everyone at Miami was like pretty cool. Everyone I met at Tulane, New Orleans, all the other people that applied, they were all really cool. Not that I'm one to judge because I'm a fucking faggot, so I don't know what makes me the what makes me the
cool,
judge.
You're cool, gay.
You're cool. You're fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool. Fuck you. But at USC, I just remember that they were all talking about like. They're instantly talking about like which residencies make the most money. Like, oh yeah, man, I'm trying to get that house there. And I just remember instantly being like, "This is like I'm not like any of these people." And then like one girl was late, and I forgot how
she was late to her interview.
No, we were all like in there. I guess late. We were all there like an hour early, and she comes in, and I forgot how fucking big California is, and she's like flew in from Northern California, and she was like. Yeah, no, like someone's opening fire at LAX.
Wow.
And no, like right before then someone said that. And I was like, well, at least we're all here, am I right? And this girl's like, someone's like, that's why she's late. And I was like, yeah. And the next
Robert? Yeah.
Yeah. And the next part is when they were going around, they're like, like say your name and like what school you go to. And it's like, Dartmouth, Harvard, Stanford, Dartmouth, UCLA, Dartmouth, Harvard, Cal, Harvard. Thomas Kerrigan, University of Georgia. and I remember it was like I could feel like
Bulldog bite, boy. Got a Bulldog bite
from Coffee County. No, but I remember I could instantly feel like the judging eyes of inadequacy, and I remember, like, one of the girls...
They're both looking at you like, what does his parents even do? Like, sell chicken?
Yeah. Do you think he washes his hands? But I remember one of the girls that went to... There was one person...
It's like this one, like, gets up and scoots away from you.
Yeah. No, there was one girl next to me that went to Harvard, and I really liked her. She was cool. And, because I was like, man, I don't even want to talk to anybody. I just want to eat all this free food. And she was like, I know, right? And I was like, my girl. And, but this other girl that went to Harvard, like there's like smelling like blood in the water. They're all like, "Oh, there's the dumb kid." Like his parents must be an alumni. Like that's the only reason he's here. And the girl was like Tommy, like so Tom, because what they do is like the dean will come in, talk to everyone. Everyone introduces themselves, and then dean leaves. Well, this happened at all my interviews, so I'm guessing it's just a normal thing amongst all the head fuck alpha competitors, where the dean leaves and there's 10 minutes before any interviews start. So they just leave all these hyper alpha competitive kids. Because for USC, they said 15,000 students applied. They interview 500 and let in 150. So it's like tippy. And they just let you brew in there. Like, part of me thinks they probably have a camera.
I'm sure they just go back and watch.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it's like, let's see who draws blood. He's in.
Yeah.
And we were all sitting there, and, like, one girl was, like, instantly, I'm just, like, looking down, and because I'm, like, I've already made a joke about, like, None of us got shot, so it doesn't matter.
Shootings.
Yeah, and one girl was like, Tommy, and I was like, hey, and she was like UGA, and I was like, yeah. They're like, how come you're out here? And I was like, I mean, who doesn't want to go to California? In reality, was like, I applied to every school I could, and just like by luck, like cast a wide enough net, one of them let me come.
Yeah, shotgun theory, man. Just
Seriously,
send that weapon right.
Yeah, or the Stephen Paddock theory. Is that too soon?
I don't know who that is.
The guy who lit up Las Vegas last month.
Yeah, that's probably too soon.
Okay. Well,
nice. Yeah, makes sense.
But she was like, so I guess they have a pretty good department there, and I was like, what? And they were like, well, I guess I'm asking like how good is the pre-med department there? And I instantly realized I was like walking into like we all go to Ivy League schools, and you're a fucking idiot, bulldog. So how good is the pre-med department there? And
how prestigious your school?
And they all kind of like looked at each other, and I'm sure they were all like, ha ha ha, and eating caviar. And I was like,
let's talk about our MCAT scores too.
Yeah. And I was like, and it was probably the only good comeback I'll ever have in my life. And I was like, it's good enough to get me here with you guys. It's just like, exactly. And I was like, yep, I fucked myself upside down and backwards, so I'm not going.
I mean, I probably would have said the same smart-ass remark.
My rejection letter beat me home. So, yeah.
Impressive.
I was home the next day.
Go ahead and red-eye back to this guy.
What?
Go ahead and red-eye that rejection letter back.
Yeah, seriously, dude. It was,
like the nice, like, wax stamp on it and everything.
Yeah.
You know?
Another moment that made me realize I was too fucking stupid was when we like walked into this one room, and there are like no phones out, like nothing, and it's the room with all like the bodies that they practice on, and it's just all these corpses, but they're covered with sheets and stuff, and there's even like cameras, like the blacked out cameras, to make sure students don't do shit. It's a very serious thing, I guess, obviously, and they're like, Can anyone guess like what the cameras are for? And the correct answer was like to make sure students like treat it with respect, or to make sure other people come in here and don't steal body parts.
What'd you say?
Well, I didn't think it was loud enough for anyone to hear, and I was like, the cameras are here to make sure the corpses don't turn into zombies. And I was just like, I'm so fucking stupid. And like, one girl laughed, and it was...
Tommy, let's just be serious for, it's like 6 hours, however long the fucking interview is.
Yeah, and this one girl laughed, and I was like, all right, this girl's on my level, and I was like talking to her, like, extremely attractive, and I was like, yes, like, what do you do? And she's like, oh, I'm taking a year off, and I was like, hell yeah. I was like, what are you doing? I was like, just like, in my mind, like, what I wanted to do in a year off would go to a bunch of festivals, do some drugs, and she was like...
Oh, yeah.
She's like, oh, well, I graduated Stanford a year early, so I decided to take a job at Google. And I was like, fuck.
Dude,
I almost got expelled from Valdosta. I'm not meant to be here.
Yeah, if you even, like, name dropped Valdosta State, then,
I should have name dropped it, like, yeah, I'm from a little school called VSU. Go Blazers.
Rise up 420.
I don't know if I've told you guys, but I worked at a little place called Flip Flops. Don't know if you've heard of it.
About as prestigious as VSU's pre-med program.
VSU did not have one.
Exactly.
I remember when I went to my advisor, I was like, like asking pre-med stuff, and like after she told me all these classes to take, I was like, yeah, but I was like, what else should I do? Like, good. Like at UGA, they show you which hospitals to volunteer at, what to do, blah, blah, blah. And the lady's like, oh, yeah. I would recommend just Googling it. And I was like, fuck me.
I recommend just, like, figuring it out yourself.
Yeah.
Just,
yeah.
Continue to pay $17,000 a year to go to school here.
And yeah.
I think you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Most kids say they're going to transfer to UGA in 2 years anyways.
Yeah.
About 5% of them actually do that. So.
Yeah. Or they go the classic Valdosta, Kazakhstan route.
Valdosta, Kazakhstan, man. that classic funnel system that they got set up.
Yeah,
What
Valdosta.
was the
Valdosta's a feeder
the
school.
shitty community college that people went to in Valdosta?
What? Oh,
Like like the community college that was like on campus.
oh yeah.
It was like
Yeah,
the same
no,
guys
no,
that let
yeah.
you transfer to UGA. They're also like
I remember
like,
Quinn did classes there one semester.
yeah.
I think it was when we were pledges, and the brothers were like, "But you don't go to
I don't even
Valdosta."
school here. It's like, no, but I live in Valdosta, and it's like, yeah, dude, we know.
Dude,
You went to private school.
Yeah, I remember one day during pledge trip, like Quinn gave some brothers a drive back in the back of his like white pickup, and I vividly remember like coming out of the front door of the frat house and looking to the left, and I remember them getting out, and they're like, "Thanks for the ride, Quinn," and they like stood up, and instead of jumping over the tailgate, they kicked it. Like, not like, oh, kicked it open. I mean, literally dented it, like, busted the plastic, and just stood there kicking it with the heels of their boots.
Like, not using the
No.
lever system.
Yeah.
Because,
And it wasn't even like they hit it and it popped open. I mean, like, they fucked it up. It was just fucked up from there on out.
right, because it's not made to do that.
And I now, like, look on Instagram and I see Quinn making money as a model in Chicago, and I'm just like, yes. Sweet fucking karma.
That was just fuel for him.
Yeah, it was, dude.
Yeah, I mean, like, he just had to have enough of that stuff happen to him to the point where he was just like, all right,
He's gonna do it.
Do crunches until I get signed.
Yeah, seriously, that's what he did. He just did crunches until all of a sudden it was like, oh, sex.
yeah, here we go.
Yeah. It was, that's another weird tie-in. I broke into your house, and we're both on this weird journey. Quinn was with me that night.
Yeah, like earlier that night, because he doesn't leave Valdosta.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Because he and I were hanging out, and we were drinking. I mean, the whole thing that fucking caused... I mean, of course, I'm not taking responsibility for my actions. The whole thing that caused it is they had those little airline bottles of Crown Royal. Yeah. And it was like Crown Royal Black, where like a handle was too expensive for a college kid. But they did...
It for like $1.49.
But because it's Valdosta and they can't do math, they're selling each airline bottle for like $0.25. And I was like, wait, if we just buy 40 of these, we can get a handle for...
Yeah, do you have a buggy? Just go ahead and fill it up. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, we can get a handle for like a fraction. And they were like, all right. Madison, all right, dude.
Cool.
And
let's just put it in my scooter cooler. And we'll ride it home, dude.
Yeah. And we did that, and that's how it started. I remember we were watching like Survivor or some shit. And I just remember we were drinking, like, the day before...
Joe Rogan would be involved in this, dirty bastard.
What?
Oh, no, wait, he's Fear Factor. Who's the guy from Survivor?
I don't know, but it's not Rogan.
Irrelevant. Yeah, come
on. Yeah, Johnny Depp would be involved in this.
Fucking Depp, man. Always making his way into breaking stories.
Oh, he's got his dirty fingers and everything. And
so you and Quinn and Madison.
Yeah, and like the day prior, Red Bull had dropped off like a pong table. It was specifically made for like beer pong, and it had little speakers built in too.
I didn't get one of those.
What? No, I think it was Madison. It might have been Kellen. Like someone saved up like 200 like coupons or something.
They drink a Red Bull every single day for 4 years while they're in college. And
someone did something where like some loophole, and they mailed them in, and we got some huge pong table that like the Red Bull logo, and it had speakers built in. You could plug your iPod into it.
Nice.
Yeah, we had it we didn't even set it up. It came in like a big box, and what else did it come in? But you like set it up, and we didn't even set it up. We just took it out of the box and immediately threw it in the fire because we didn't have any firewood. And it burned. You know how like plastic burns really well. And
yeah, exactly. It gives a nice black smoke.
It gives that nice
crumples, like just like decays.
Dude, that's like when we'd have pledges go steal pallets. Did you guys ever have them do that for fires?
Dude, there were so many nails in our driveway.
Yeah, just go.
Speak a little bit about, because the best place to have a fire was in the middle of the driveway because that's smart.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
and then-
ours was under the power line. I don't know if you remember that.
yeah, I do remember that.
Every once in a while, I'd get so high, I'd be like, are the lights going to flicker?
Nothing like burning, 37 pallets in one night when there's like 50 different people parking at your house during the day.
Yeah. It's speaking of like the black smoke, I remember when we had pledges one night, we were like, go get us pallets, and like, you remember Defo, Anthony DeFelice?
Yeah.
He came back one night and he was like, couldn't find any pallets, and I was like, why the fuck?
Is he like from New Jersey, or just
he
embody
is?
that?
I don't know. He is like I think like 99. I think he is like if you took an average of every Guido male on Earth, it comes up to like plus or minus 1% Defo.
I recognize that guy as you're friends with Defo too. Yeah.
I thought he was on. Yeah. He came back and I was like, Defo, you don't have any pallets? He's like, Defo was like always sweating, and he was like, oh, got something else though, and he had this like odd look of pride about him, and I was like, what do you got, man?
Stack of newspapers.
Yeah, and it's like a cat that brings you like a fucking dead animal. Come on! And I like go outside.
How good I did.
He's got these construction cones, and not like the tiny little pyramidal cones.
Like the big round ones?
The big cylindrical ones with the light on top.
Rubber band.
Yeah.
Hey, they were construction for a while, and those were not fun to move.
Yeah, well, Defoe's like built like a fucking gorilla.
Yeah, I'm sure they burnt just like all the other plastics.
Dude, it looked like fucking Desert Storm in our backyard. It was, there was that black, like that Iraq smoke of the oil wells.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was kind of bad for like subsequent pledge classes because that set the standard. Like, we no longer wanted pallets because those burned so much better. And
right.
Yeah.
Better isn't worse, but like that's what you're going for. Like single smoke.
Yeah, and you know that smell the morning after, and not just like we had a nice bonfire last night. You can smell the pine. You don't know like the Valdosta fires, where you can
taste the tar.
You can taste that like chemical like
there it is.
Cancer with every breath.
Well, especially as muggy as Valdosta is,
Yeah,
it's in every crevice.
That's what I smelled the next morning after the whole fiasco at Yell's place. That's what made me realize something was off. Is when I woke up on the
couch.
I woke up on a couch that wasn't mine, but that was in my room, and I was like, and I just remember like, and I was like, oh no, like, oh no, oh no.
There was no one else here.
No, and I remember like, and I could hear walking around was Wilds, the president, and that's when Caleb Wilds. Was his first name Caleb?
Yeah.
I can't fucking remember. And I remember that's when I looked through Zach's.
He was older than us a few years, right?
Yeah, that's when I looked through Zach's back window, and I saw 2 police officers around what looked like a fucking Soviet satellite had crashed in our backyard. Because there was.
I still got a picture of it, man.
You have a picture of it?
Yeah, dude. On that SD card that I told you my buddy from high school was still from Walmart.
Fuck yeah!
I got all that shit. I can plug it in and send it to you.
Please do.
Yeah. Hold on 1 second.
All right.
Bro, is that my flag?
Do you recognize Yell's
Represent,
fraternity flag? Still got that. It's got that nice. It's got that nice. That scent of burnt N64 games and stereos.
So I got a drawer. It's just like old electronic shit. Like this is BlackBerry. I don't even know what kind of BlackBerry this was, but like I wish this phone was still a thing. Like the QWERTY keyboard and everything. My fingers are a little fatter now than when I first had it, but this thing was great. But, I mean, that's the whole reason I have this SD card. But yeah, there's so much random shit in that drawer, like fucking Tamagotchi. Before.
Fuck yeah.
Still got that shit, bro. But yeah, let's see. If we can find this. Yes, that 1 gigabyte
Do you know?
SanDisk.
I'm just thinking about how fast technology is moving now. That my freshman year during pledgeship, I had a flip phone, and I remember the text messages were the kind where there wasn't a conversation. You just got new texts. It was like each
blank.
What?
Like just blank?
No, like an iPhone, how you can like scroll up through a conversation. If you and I were talking, I would text you, and it would say, "Hey."
Like there was no linearity to it.
No.
Or like the linearity was just like what text you received.
Yeah, and so if you were having more than one conversation at once, it was
really easy to text
the response to a wrong person. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially if you're one of those idiots that didn't say people's numbers.
Yeah. You having trouble there?
I don't use these very often.
Use these very often.
Let's see what we got. Let's see if I can screen share.
Yeah, I don't know how to use Google Hangouts.
Shit. What does this button do? Yeah, share screen. How's that clarity?
What?
Can you see my screen?
I can't see your screen.
Wait. Okay, you should now.
Oh, whoa. Fucking black magic, man.
So it's definitely images. Let's see.
Or diversity magic.
Let's hit these dates. 2011? Christmas 2011?
No, it was December 30th, 2010.
2010.
That was the day of that.
I got a feeling that it's this one.
Oh, that's it, man. That's my crime.
That was my house.
That's what happened.
Oh, Tommy, you dog, you.
That's what That's how bad it was. Tommy built us a waterfall. Is that your house?
Yeah, that was my first house. This is some random shit. And I don't know. I know I had these photos. Let me see. This is on my BlackBerry. And
are you sure? What is the statute of limitations?
7 years.
Wait, so it hasn't been 7 years yet, right? December 30th, 2010.
Close.
All right, why don't we pause and we'll just do this part on a podcast in January?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll go back and see if I can find those.
Yeah, I'm not, it's almost 7 years. I'm not about to confess to a quintuple felony the month ago. Did I ever tell you about when I called my dad and I told him, all he said was, "Are you gonna pay for it?" And yes, sir. I can liquidate my my Apple stock and pay for it. All right. Yep. Are you kicked out of school? No, sir. All right. I've got a story for you when you're 30. What? He just hung up the phone. And it's like, what the fuck did my dad like? You go from
Planted that seed.
what?
So, on your 30th birthday, you'd be like, all right, so
Well, I
you
want
had
to know
something to
why I
tell me?
can't know until I'm 30.
Yeah, I mean, I think now is a good time.
Maybe he's got statutes of limitations. Maybe it's fucking
Maybe.
hard. Maybe it's hardcore.
Maybe so, but I'll go back through. Oh, shit. Oh, the evidence might have just been destroyed.
So me and some friends accidentally took out one of our other friends who used to go by John Fitzgerald.
I'm sorry, you gotta explain that more.
John Fitzgerald Kennedy. The joke is being my dad killing JFK.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Have you gone through and read those files?
I've read a lot of them.
Did we already talk about this?
No.
Okay.
Dude, how like the first thing is like the Surgeon General's report on the day of. You got to remember the context. So it's before, because the only film there was the Zapruder film, which I didn't know that the CIA confiscated and didn't release for 15 years.
Right.
Dude, that'd be like if there was only one camera in Manhattan
Oh wait,
on
like
9/11.
The video that wasn't classified wasn't released until 15 years later.
Yeah. That'd be like if there was one camera in Manhattan on 9/11 and they released it this past 9/11. No, 2016.
Shit.
Yeah. So mind you, this is before the Zapruder film. This is before the Warren Commission. This is before anything whatsoever. This is just, holy fuck, president was killed a couple hours ago. What's the Surgeon General? The U.S. Surgeon General did the autopsy. I thought all they did was fucking write shit on cigarette boxes. But he did the autopsy. And it was just very matter of fact that the shot through his neck came from behind, and the shot that killed him came from in front, and you could tell because there's a bullet hole through the windshield.
He was in a convertible, but I mean, I guess it could.
Well, there was a bullet hole in the windshield.
Yeah, but they were like sitting on the back, weren't they? I guess that's besides the point.
But it's besides the point. There was an entrance point through the windshield. No shots were supposed to come from the front, and so it just says very matter of fact. It appears the first shooter, Lee Harvey Oswald. Yeah, he said the neck shot came from behind, which has been whoever was just this guy that was just caught a couple hours ago, Lee Harvey Oswald. They have yet to find the second shooter.
Who was the guy that drive-by shot Lee Harvey Oswald?
Jack Ruby walked up to him and shot him at the Dallas hospital.
I've seen that video too.
Yeah, but one of the other two classes. And so apparently, the whole story was Jack Ruby was just a patriot. Well, the files show Jack Ruby and Lee Harvey Oswald meeting at a Miami airport and a Cuba airport months prior, saying like, "Have you heard anything from Big Bird?" Big Bird was a nickname for Lyndon B. Johnson.
Oh, basically, the files just say that it's on LBJ.
The files
in Russia freaked the fuck out because they didn't trust LBJ.
Yeah, or the other
they trusted Kennedy. Kennedy was doing a lot of good things for Russia.
Yeah, have you ever seen? I'll find it. But another thing LBJ said, apparently to his mistress the night before, was, "After tomorrow, those goddamn Kennedys will never make a fool of me again." That's not a threat. That's a promise.
Yeah.
I mean, holy fuck.
Took care of that.
He did. I mean, I'll give it to him. He followed through.
That's why the vice president should basically be your friend, and
I'm just thinking,
not like the person who got the second most amount of votes, because there would be so many more assassinations.
I'm just thinking about like, what if someone really liked LBJ? I don't like his policies, but he sticks to his guns. He said he was going to kill JFK, and you know what? I'll be gosh darned, Bill. He did it.
He's been preaching that on Sunday.
He's been consistent. He's not been a flip flopper on it. He said from day one, I'm going to blow his.
I'm going to kill that guy.
I'm going to give that guy. I'm going to give that guy a fucking lobotomy in front of the United States.
I'm going to shoot him in his back and his front.
Yeah, and and I'll be gosh darned. He did it, and that's what I want in a leader.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Sticks to his word. But I don't know. LBJ didn't do too great, did he? Did he not?
No, he didn't. Dude, he used to take his dick out on Air Force One.
I mean, why not?
Well, he apparently had an 8-inch dick that he called Jumbo. he'd pull it out on a jumbo
Who
jet.
wants to see Jumbo? Nobody. All right, here comes Jumbo.
No, dude, I read a book on Air Force One last fall because I'm living at
While
home.
you were on Air Force One?
Yeah. Well, no, I read it because I'm 27 and living at home and have no life. But apparently he was an absolute dick. If his like steak wasn't perfect, he'd pick it up and throw it at like the stewardess.
And see, when you say steak perfect, is that like how Trump likes his steak? Like well done with ketchup? Or
Yeah, I guess perfect is in the eye of the beholder.
yeah, exactly.
Who's his face? Who's Truman? Do you know Truman had? I think he was on one of the first Air Force Ones. It was like a DC something.
Air Force One Beta.
Yeah, he. Yeah.
He was the beta tester
Before any of the DLC. No, FDR had the first one, but Truman used to have them fly over the state of this one senator he hated. That when he was the senator, I think Truman was the senator beforehand. It was like his arch nemesis. He just fucking hated the guy. They always called each other out. He used to have Air Force One fly over that guy's home state, and that's when he'd have his toilet flushed out the back. He'd have his septic tank emptied.
See, that's why you need an arch nemesis.
Yeah.
Like you have, like when you have power like that,
What else?
you have to spend erroneous amounts of money on just
You have to be able to shit on
like things like that like that is your drive. You know, it's not like I need more money, I need more power. Like you've already achieved that. So what do you want to do? You want to shit on your arch nemesis.
Yeah, they always said there's 2 tiers. They said the first one is you acquire as much money you can, and after that it's power. That's when you become like a senator or you own the media. I say there's a third, and it's shitting on your enemies from the sky.
Hell yeah, man.
Absolutely.
What else do you have left to do?
I mean, we can't find Atlantis, so I mean, you shit.
You spend your fun tokens on your power jet to shit on your enemies.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense.
Apparently,
Sounds fucking hilarious.
Apparently, JFK had the most annoying fucking dog that he never put any training into. So he'd just bring this thing on an Air Force One, and it would just run around, just barking his head off. And
I'm
so,
sure he knew what he was doing. He's like, oh yeah, Sparky? Yeah, he's shit in the room again.
Yeah, fuck off from the president.
He's not cleaning it up.
No, and I guess like when JFK would go to bed or something, they'd give the dog sleep aids and like whiskey just to get it to calm the fuck down.
Yeah, exactly. Or just Benadryl, you know, that would work too.
What?
Or just Benadryl, you know.
Well, I think they were just giving him what JFK was using, which was
sleep
aids and
I
whiskey.
don't know how long antihistamines have been a thing. But.
Probably a while, dude.
Yeah.
Did you know the bed to Air Force One is at the very tip of the plane? If that's at all interesting. It's so the engines are way behind you so the president can sleep quietly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I didn't
figure if they're going to crash, they're probably going to wake them up and pull them back.
Yeah, I was just trying to rationalize why they would do that and how that would work. But I mean, I guess it's a big plane. It has like, you know, different tiers of like where the plane would
including the storage in the bottom. It's 3 floors.
Yeah,
there you go. And on 9/11, when they were keeping it airborne, they actually had fighter jets tailing it. Apparently, the fighter jet pilots would actually radio to the Air Force One captain saying, "Slow down, if we can't keep up with you." This is all classified what it can do because it's a modified 747. But that they're saying, "Slow down, like we can't keep up with you." These fucking F-16 Eagles were telling this big lumbering 747 to slow down.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Yeah.
I saw the post the other day, or maybe it was. I think it was maybe it was today. One that you posted of like conspiracy things from like 1964.
Yeah.
Like during like you know like cell phone, computer, TV,
yeah.
disc,
and then the Blackbird,
and then, you know, like fucking like stealth bomber or like whatever kind of plane that was.
The SR-71 Blackbird.
SR-71.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That was in 1964, 1967.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, no, that's the best we got.
Yeah.
That's the best we got.
Yeah. Because that's the only way you can put it into perspective is when you look at cars that were around then. And then you look at that black alien technology thing, and it's like, oh, hold on, and it was declassified like a year before it was retired.
Did you read the best of the guy who claimed to be one of like the first humans to see the stealth bomber before it actually became declassified, like before they actually like claimed that it was a thing?
The SR-71 or like the stealth bomber, the B-2,
No,
the big
not,
wing.
the B-2, the triangle
Mhm.
one, not
No,
the SR-71.
I haven't.
He was just like some, I don't know, it was just like some mechanic working on a base, and he did all like incoming flight traffic, landing and everything,
Uh-huh.
and he didn't get a response for this one flight, but he could actually like hear it landing, but it said there was no lights or anything, and he saw a hangar opening, and he just saw this big fucking black triangle looking plane go into this giant hangar that they had that he said that he had never seen open before, and it went in and closed, and like 2 hours later it left, and it opened back up and it left no lights or anything. Like he said, it was hardly any sound besides like the hangar opening up and down.
That's
terrible. He said like the next week they were like, yeah, it's a real thing. It's a real stealth bomber.
There's so when
kind of going off that SR-71 thing, my buddy who's in the Air Force, he said that he like top percent Air Force Academy graduate and everything. He said that he's seen plenty of things that he can't talk about. Some being craft so big that it literally blots out the sun.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, my brother did not like that, but my brother did Air Force or like engine like fluid dynamics. I'm too fucking stupid at Georgia Tech, and yeah, he couldn't tell us what he did, but he did. Exactly. I remember him telling me one time. Remember when there was like the government shutdown or whatever it was? It was like 2000.
Just like when the government took a hiatus. Back in, it was last year. They were down for.
It was like Blink-182. They're just like breaking up, guys. A lot of intrafamilial stuff.
We can't agree on shit, so we're just gonna sit this week out.
Take care.
Yeah, they all took a sick day.
No, and like tons of stuff lost funding and blah blah blah. But I remember John was whatever he was doing in class or research or whatever, and I remember him. He told me that he asked like one of the professors they're all like ex-intelligence, ex-Air Force, whatever, and he was like, so it was like the NSA and the NRO, the National Reconnaissance Office, like constantly watching every inch of the earth. He was like, so he's like, I can't imagine they have their stuff cut, or do they have part of it cut? Are they not on? And like your uncle doing voices for Doug. Remember Mr. Dink? Like Douglas. John said that his professor sounded like Mr. Dink, and he was like, ha, ha, ha. Go outside, look up at the sky and wave. They're watching. Oh. They're always watching.
It's pretty accurate.
Yeah. Oh, Douglas.
I assume that was him. I don't. He did like half the voices for that show.
Oh, I don't know if he did Mr. Dink. Okay.
I don't know if he did. I mean, it was like a total like.
I don't know if he did Mr. Dink. My uncle was here. Mr. Dink was he was up here.
Yeah.
He was at that real upper echelon.
I mean, it was him and Jim, and then like someone to do the girl voices, and that was it. It's like Seth MacFarlane. If you go look at his IMDb, it's just like 300 different characters of him just talking to himself and making episodes.
Really? Oh fuck! What did I do?
There's episodes.
What did I do?
Where
I don't know. What did I do?
90% of the thing is just him talking to himself in different voices.
Oh, Seth MacFarlane. Yeah. Here, I'm gonna send you. Here, if I ever have a link or something or pictures, I'm just gonna send it to you, and you pull it up on.
You can drop it in the conversation on Hangouts.
On what?
like all the chat that we're doing right now. If you go to the bottom left there, there's a little chat window that'll pull up. Send a message to everyone and call.
Right? How do I do this? Where? I'm too fucking
You
stupid.
see it?
I'm too fucking stupid.
You mouse over the screen, a little in the bottom left, a little chat window should show up.
Well, I can't see my full screen. It's not like adjusted to the TV. What?
Yeah, you see my screen?
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, yeah, my screen isn't like fully adjusted to the TV.
Gotcha.
So I can't. I just can't find it.
Whatever. Just
Whatever. I'm just gonna Facebook it to you.
Oh yeah, do that.
When they first built the SR-71, and it was built in all different spots, but they had to ship it out to Groom Lake, Area 51, and
so yeah, I mean that's how they keep everyone who's working on it from knowing what the hell they're actually building.
Yeah, but so they ship it out there, and it's got to go like across the country, and they sent out basically like not search, almost like a reconnaissance team, if you will, some like Lewis and Clark shit beforehand, and they went through the whole path, and they had the measurements of how big it was a huge box on an 18-wheeler.
Mm-hmm.
So like it was a big wooden box.
And solid unmarked 18-wheelers traveling across the country.
Yeah, but no, it wasn't even a container. Literally, it was like this huge. It was like 3 lanes wide, so they had to go through the whole path, and they were like, so when the actual trip went on, they had 2 like cop cars leading it, and they would like saw down street signs, like
shit.
Yeah, like when they were going on like small roads, if there was like dirt or trees on either side, they had to bring in bulldozers and like. Dude, they literally carved a path to where they were going.
Well, I mean, that's why highways and interstates even became a thing, is because Dwight Eisenhower wanted
airstrips for if there was ever a U.S. invasion.
Airstrips and like traffic routes for military vehicles to move across the country.
Well, it's set up so that it's like every X number of miles, there's a strip Y number of miles long that's straight, so they can double as landing strips. Which is kind of cool. I think those are the coolest things, like the things hidden in plain sight.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's decades old, and it may or may not have ever served that purpose, but it's still viably there.
Yeah.
For some reason, it's ever needed.
Have you ever seen Troll Hunter?
No, I'm not sure what that is.
Oh, it's a movie.
Okay.
Me and my friend JP we were like drinking at his house one day, and we just looked up like the worst movie on Netflix or Apple TV, and it was that, and we watched it, and that is one of my favorite movies. It was going to go along with the whole hiding in plain sight, but it's not going to work. It's not going to work if you don't see it. There's this huge, like either like asking this one government official who's like not in the know. Like this guy at this like electrical plant, and he's like, they have this big map of all the wires in the country, and he's like, what about that one? He's like, oh, those are like those huge, like, those like telephone poles that are like they're not even poles, they're like structures. Yeah, they're like 100 feet high and have several things on them.
Yeah, like a bunch of crazy triangles that like form a body.
Yeah, they do look like aliens.
A whole bunch of them on the way from Atlanta to Valdosta. So.
Classic. But if you he's like, have you ever looked at the full map? And like the guy's like, no. He's like, yes, it's he's like looking at it, and the guy, the troll hunter, who's part of this like secret government agency that deals with trolls, he's like, and you've never questioned yourself why it doesn't circle? And he was like, no, I guess I haven't. And it's because like of the many types of trolls, there's one type of troll that's like 150 feet high, and it lives out in the mountains. And the only way they can keep it is they have this like 100-mile wide circle. So it's actually it serves as an electrical fence, but to anyone driving by, the circle's so wide that you don't see the curvature, so it just looks like
exactly. It was like it's flat. Yeah.
Which means that there must be a massive troll somewhere in Valdosta.
Yeah, there's gotta be, man. in that Albany area.
Yeah.
That hour and a half stretch with nothing but fucking cornfields.
Yeah, I just sent you the thing where they're transporting the SR-71. But what it is, it's crazy. And yeah, so they didn't even stay at like hotels or stuff. They would park on the side of the road and have like cop cars around them, and they just stay there at night. And at one point, they rear-ended a Greyhound bus, and it was empty. And like the driver got out, and he thought it was just like a normal 18-wheeler, not knowing that this is some like world classified like black program for the CIA and Air Force at like the height of the Cold War.
Literally, no one knows about this shit.
They gave the truck driver like $100,000 in cash and told him to go get his truck fixed. And if anyone asked, it was his fault. He hit a tree.
Damn. Best accident he's ever gotten in. Talking about like driving man crazy, you know?
What?
Talking about like driving like himself crazy. It just, you know, like dealing with that, like what actually is going on for them to give me that absurd amount of money just
in 1964. It wasn't declassified till 91. So that Greyhound driver, I'm not sure I don't know what the life expectancy of Greyhound drivers are, if they're particularly healthy people. But yeah, he could have very well died never knowing.
Yeah, very, very true.
His wife divorces him because she thinks he's lying. Honey, I swear to God, exactly. I got rear-ended by this 18-wheeler that had a big wooden box on it, and they gave me $100,000 cash. I know you're seeing that whore.
Yeah. I guess he could. He could take a year off and not tell her and still pay the bills.
Oh, dude, $100,000, and no, this was in '62. What the hell is that equivalent? Did you get it? Did you get the link?
I did.
Here, pull it up. Pull it up on the screen so it shows. Yeah.
But how you were talking about, you know, how they built these in separate places and then kind of, you know, shuttled everything in and put them together. I mean, Martin shit. They did the same thing with the atomic bomb, Robert Oppenheimer. They had, you know, different factories all over the country where they were.
You don't want to have any one person knowing what's going on. It's the same thing when they a couple of years ago when there was that huge construction project at the White House, but it was entirely underground.
Yeah.
But they just had like 7 different contractors over the course of like 2 years. Just every day there was like dump trucks taking shit, just dirt out, and they're building something under, you know, some bunker or something. But yeah, you never have like one. I like to think that they just murder all of them in the desert after.
Well, I mean, I think that yeah, they very well could, but yeah, I wonder how deep underground it actually goes.
Probably pretty fucking deep, dude.
Well, yeah, I mean, deep enough to be fully functional after a nuclear blast.
Yeah, well, yeah, because you don't want the president having to, because it takes, you know, from any between countries that actually have modern ICBMs, you can fire the farthest between any 2 points on Earth in like less than 31 minutes from like firing to detonation. So. Whereas Congress, I don't know if they still have it, but there's a hotel like 70 miles outside of D.C. And it's actually a front underground. It's this huge VIP bunker for Congress. I don't think they want to have to like wait and drive 70 miles for the president. I imagine he can just go straight under.
Yeah, 70 miles. That doesn't do very much good. What you got on the truck? Oh, nothing. Just a triple wide trailer.
Look how fucking wide that is.
Wide load. Yeah, no shit. Doesn't even fit on the highway.
That might have been I bet that was the best day of that trucker's life.
Honestly,
no tickets. Don't even have to honk my horn.
Yeah, because there's no one else on the road.
Fuck it. Not only do I not have to worry about traffic, they literally just cut down streetlights in front of me.
Dude, I feel like 2 trucks would work in this design.
You know, maybe it's like me. I can get into med school, but I don't know how to tie a tie. They can build the SR-71, but they stick with one 18-wheeler.
You know that kayak commercial where it's like a person on 4 laptops at the same time?
No.
Well, it's like them sitting on the couch and they had this like wooden contraption hooked up, so like everything they do like correlates to 4 laptops at the same time. And just imagine like one person driving 2 trucks with like a wooden like operating system, like driving 2 trucks at the same time to coordinate driving this thing. Holy shit!
I wonder if the truck driver knew.
Who else driving the truck?
Okay, but look at the truck in front of it. Like, look at the difference in like the technology that you know is inside of that. It's that fucking
like a 1964 Ford.
Dude, what's that like old show with like the old black and white show with the 2 police officers? Like you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know. Like the cop show from the 60s.
Yeah.
Potty break. Classic potty break.
Classic.
Damn. Yeah. Who do you get to pull?
Is it
thing out?
Andy Griffith?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fucking Andy Griffith truck. And then they've got like the equivalent of the Jason Bourne plane.
Yeah, man.
You know, they never.
There's like absolutely no correlation. Like, look, what do they have to do here?
You know, I highly doubt the Andy Griffith show ever like accurately depicted the racism of the 50s.
Yeah. Road again, I just can't wait to get on the road again. What's this? What's that, a keg?
Do you think they had insurance?
That's not an easy drive, and I mean, like what insurance companies are even around back then? I don't even know how that shit would work back in the 60s.
We need you insured of this shipment. All right, how much? $400 billion. We can't tell you what it is though.
Man, the coolest part of the Manhattan Project for me was when they borrowed like $400 million worth of silver from the U.S. Treasury Department, and they just melted it all down into like this big fucking ring for like some implosion method that they were like
really
trying to see like, hey, this might work for like a good detonation method, but I don't know for sure if it is or not. So we're just going to borrow all the fucking silver that the United States has and use it and see if we can benefit from that method.
I didn't know that happened.
Yeah.
You know, the original and the first bomb they used in the Trinity test in Alamogordo, New Mexico, it was held together with duct tape.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I swear to God.
Hey, duct tape's
duct tape's legit.
A world-class invention, man.
And they also didn't know whether or not it was going to ignite the atmosphere of Earth. That's
always exciting.
That was
oxygen. It's highly flammable.
That was a concern of we don't know if we're gonna fucking just light the entire Earth.
Well, the detonation method is a chain reaction method.
Yeah,
and it's an implosion that causes one layer or like 2 atoms fusing to get so hot that it immediately sets off 2 atoms next to it. So it has to happen at a very high pressure point and then immediately expand from all that energy. So
I wonder if Einstein and Oppenheimer just bluffed, and they're like, "So you guys have it worked out how the reaction's not going to go on forever."
well,
Sure.
you know how we figured out that the Germans didn't know shit, right?
Wasn't it that like secret operation we did?
We bugged a cabin, and we put all the scientists were like in a cabin for the weekend, and this is when we had mold, and they bugged the entire place and listened to the conversation of them actually like going over like their nuclear conversations and then like their processes, like you know, the like thought processes, like where they were on their project and how they were coming along and everything. And the United States basically just laughed. They were like, they are so fucking far behind. You know, it's like they're in kindergarten and we're teaching, you know, like next level. You know,
they're in Valdosta.
Stuff with the subject, and they're years away. From actually developing the bomb.
Well, because one thing,
and that's when we didn't see them as a visual threat for doing it.
Well, one thing was they had. One thing was that they had. You had to have like massive amounts of hard water, which is like deuterium water. It's some fucking isotope of hydrogen, and like we went and we bombed their like deuterium plants in Germany to like hinder that. And then another thing we did afterwards is like
deuterium it's just
an isotope of hydrogen.
H3 plus. Yeah. So it's just an isotope of hydrogen.
No, H3 plus is hydronium.
Hydronium.
The actual H2? Hydrogen atom is H2O, but the hydrogen atom is an isotope, I think.
Well, I mean, H is just H1.
Yes.
Is it?
Does hydrogen have a neutron?
No.
We'll look up what deuterium is.
Yeah, it's just H2.
Oh, sorry, dude.
Hydrogen, H1, you know. It's heavy hydrogen. 2H. One of two stable isotopes of hydrogen, the other being protium. So, normal hydrogen just has one proton. Deuterium has one proton and one neutron.
Oh, you have a chemistry degree, right?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I only took chemistry at Valdosta, so I'm limited with that VSU intelligence. Atoms are very small. I mean, they're like really fucking small. Think of how small you can imagine, and then it's smaller than that.
You didn't take, yeah, exactly.
I took chemistry 1 in Valdosta.
You didn't take OChem at.
I took that at UGA.
Oh, okay. Well, first off, Dr. Tom Manning was my chemistry professor. One of the best professors that I've still had to this day. I took like 6 classes with him at Valdosta, and like that's who I did all my undergrad research undergrad research with.
Wasn't quite the Manhattan Project, but
Valdosta, it was okay. I don't know, like he just made everything seem so simple, and like honestly, half the time I feel like he didn't know what he was doing. It kind of turned out that he didn't, but at the same time, he was constantly getting grants, and like we were actually making cancer drugs and everything. So it was really fucking cool working with him. We did some tight projects, and like actually got to go to different like Academy of Sciences stuff. Like I got out of school, you know, to go on this shit. But the organic professors at Valdosta were fucking smart, man.
Dude, UGA too.
I'm sure
they're
to be an organic professor. I mean, it's next level. The guy, I don't even remember his name. Baxter was the head of the chemistry department
at Valdosta.
Valdosta, and he patented the peach scent that he sold to Glade.
Jesus fuck.
And dude, he is so rich. He has like 40 cars.
Dude, my girlfriend. Not my girlfriend. I mean, my cousin just got married.
That's weird.
Yeah, both ways. But
girlfriend I mean, my cousin. I mean, my girlfriend.
It's either my girlfriend got married and I'm a fucking loser, or it's my girlfriend cousin Freudian slip.
Or you married your cousin.
Yeah. She got married in July to this really cool guy, and his dad patented vitamin infusion, which
Really?
was sold to Coca-Cola to create vitamin water.
Sugar water.
Yeah. But regardless, fucking I did. Like,
I mean, they gave 50 Cent $50 million to sponsor it. I don't know how much the creator,
No, 50 Cent
actually making profits off.
No,
of
50 Cent bought a ton of stock in it and then sold
Right.
it. He didn't get sponsored. He just straight up like balled out. He went from crack to like wise investments.
Yeah, I want to be a part of this sugar water investment.
Fuck yeah, dude. Regardless, I remember being at my cousin's wedding and it was just like something out of like a fucking fairy tale dream. It was like, I fucking hate weddings because like you're not a princess. But I remember being there and I was like, this is actually goddamn beautiful. And I was like, this venue is like so nice. Like, I wonder how much it was to come here. And my little brother was like, oh, they own it. I was like,
oh, this is.
I was like, oh. I was like, I can't believe they own a venue. They're like, no, this isn't a venue. They just own this and they made it the venue for today.
This is like their house.
I was like, oh, this is where they're like, this is a property they own. This is a horse farm they own. And I was like,
they have so much money, they don't have to rent this out to other people. It's just theirs.
Yeah, they just invited us over today.
Like their friend, yeah, exactly. Like their friends can borrow it on the weekend if they want.
Like that was one of those times where like I just kind of sat down and it was like, you need to evaluate some moves in my life. What am I doing?
Well, yeah, it's like like I want to study and work real hard so I can get a degree to where I can make $150,000 a year, and then you like compare that to people that have like stupid fucking money.
Fuck you money.
Where, that fuck you money, and it's like there's no degree that you can go to school for and get that guarantees that kind of success.
I think the highest level of like, and when I say guaranteed, I mean there's a set path. Not everyone's gonna make it, but there's a set path. It's probably like law degree, medical degree, and like
chemical engineering or something.
Chemical engineering and like investment banking or like portfolio managing.
Yeah,
where like you're probably a fraction are going to get into med school, but if you do, you'll get your MD.
You can make $550,000 a year,
like
and
but the fuck you money, not even like not sports money, like fuck you money.
Yeah,
it's one of two things. You're either a fucking genius, and it was like you knew from like by the time you're in second grade, you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna run a train on these idiots, or you just like the dude who's like 25 and owns Snapchat. He's a fucking billionaire.
Yeah, they offer him $1 billion, and they're just like, yeah, fuck you, I don't want your money. Like, I'm good.
Like.
Now it's like estimating net worth is like $15 billion.
There's like that, there's that loophole where it's not really a loophole. It's what both my uncles said. They said if you're smart enough to get into med school, you're smart enough.
But there's just this giant dead space in between, like that guaranteed money from a top degree and that fuck you money.
And the thing about that fuck you money is like the guy that gets it, if he doesn't get it, like he doesn't fall just shy of it. It's like you invent Snapchat or like you like you just whatever, you're just like a normal college grad,
Yeah, and it's not like I would have had it if so, but so and so took that spot.
It's right. Yeah, there's a certain level of like insanity and luck.
There's no direct path. There's no direct path to that fucking money. Obviously, like Mark Cuban, like this great example for that. He designed some crazy computer programming, sells it for a shit ton of money, buys some fucking basketball team, and can just invest money for the rest of his life and just make money off
really
giving people money.
Yeah, or fucking like Elon Musk made all that money off PayPal and then immediately took it and built SpaceX and Tesla.
Yeah, exactly. And magically grew his hair back.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Have Have you seen the picture from him and when PayPal came out?
No. I'll look it up.
Oh yeah, look up Elon Musk PayPal
photo.
founding, or just look up like Elon Musk and hair. Elon Musk.
Holy
hair.
shit.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, when you're...
And now he has like a
that's
beautiful
true.
head of hair.
That's his fucking ace in the hole. If SpaceX doesn't work. Because, the average Joe doesn't give a shit about cheap or, lowering the dollar per kilogram launch to orbit ratio. The average Joe does care about getting that fucking hair back. That's
Hell
his
yeah.
That's his ace in the... It's like fucking the Joker. You really thought I'd risk the fight for Gotham in a fist fight with you? I needed my ace in the hole. Harvey Dent. Musk is like, you think I'd risk leading the world for SpaceX or Solar City? I need an ace in the hole. Hair regeneration.
I mean, he literally bought a new scalp.
Probably.
Just got an entire new head.
I mean, dude, with that money,
Just rewrite my genetic code.
Or more likely that he just got on Facebook and said, "I like that guy's hair," and that guy went hunting or he went camping and no one saw him again.
Yeah, the most dangerous game in the world. Elon Musk killed that guy, took his fucking scalp, and look at him now.
What's the most dangerous game in the world? Hunting humans? No, it's having hair that Elon likes.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, didn't Tesla release that 18-wheeler?
I did see the Tesla Roadster earlier this week, 0 to 60 in 2.0 seconds.
Yeah, I saw that. But here, yeah, look up Tesla semi-truck.
Yeah, I saw that they were coming out with that. It's
2 days ago.
Is it supposed to be the audit, like the self-driving one, or what is it? I don't know. Or it's just like their version of the 18-wheeler.
Or is it? Yeah, I don't know. Looks pretty sexy. I bet that thing could have carried the SR-71. Hey, here's a good gauge.
Okay, yeah, so it's electric.
Here's a good gauge. That 1964 to 2017. Show this 18-wheeler instead of that original fucker that was carrying the SR-71. Now imagine what that thing carries in the box.
Oh yeah. This looks more like a car that I drew when I was 6 before I'd
Yeah, have you noticed that about the futuristic stuff? It went from a certain point of super badassery in the 2000s to now everything's going to this minimalistic 16-bit rendering type thing.
The Tesla, I love how it just shows them driving in the middle. Yeah,
that's cool.
It's you're obviously not gonna have a fucking passenger.
Yeah.
So they just put one badass seat in the middle.
Yeah.
And 2 computer screens next to them. It's fucking badass.
Dude. Yeah, have you read about how when they're self-driving, what they're gonna do is just they're the main time of driving is gonna be at night, and they're gonna have trains of them, not physically connected, but they're gonna drift off one another or draft or whatever it is.
That would make sense.
Yeah, there's huge trains where they're just almost kind of like birds, in a flying V, splitting the air.
Well, and it's going to be more energy efficient because they're not constantly changing.
Yeah,
speed and everything because the traffic's not going to be as bad.
It's got to be a head fuck if you're out there.
Imagine driving around at 3 a.m. and you just pass
a train
or get passed by a train of Tesla 18-wheelers.
Yeah, just imagine.
And there's no one driving the car.
You're just fucking Jim Bob.
Sorry, sir. Oh, what? Nope, no one's home. Okay.
Yeah, you're just fucking Jim Bob from Valdosta on one of the late night roads, just by
Jim Bob headed back,
and then
through Albany, and there's a bunch of fucking Teslas on the road.
You'll never believe what I said. Jim Bob said he saw a train of cars Jim Bob
Bob's also a drunk ass.
Jim Bob said he saw a train on the highway and it had no driver.
And no one was driving. They didn't even have lights on. They didn't even need them.
Jim Bob, last week you said there was a black president. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, Jim Bob, what do you know?
What do you know?
Colorblind son of a bitch.
Fucking Jim Bob. You've cried wolf enough times. I know you ain't telling the truth.
I think it's funny because my cousin from Valdosta is colorblind.
I thought you were going to say your cousin from Valdosta is Jim Bob.
Yeah, his name's Jim Bob.
Oh, holy shit. The 18-wheeler goes 0 to 60 in 5 seconds.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Man, there are going to be some interesting...
Stop on a dime, too.
Yeah, there's going to be some interesting terrorist attacks with that thing.
Yeah.
Dude, if you can just hijack like an automated 18-wheeler...
Well, yeah, I mean, like all these stories of, like, what was it, the one in Virginia or whatever, where the guy in the Mustang just like plowed through a crowd and killed it. You know, it was in Charlottesville.
Oh, it was, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he just plowed his car through like 15 people.
Yeah.
And so it was like 18-wheeler drives through downtown Manhattan, killing 17. Perpetrator not caught because there was no fucking perpetrator in the car, you know?
Yeah.
It's just like a remote control vehicle.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Good luck tracking that, you know?
I mean, they'll just have Elon backtrace who's driving it.
Yeah, exactly. Find the guy with hair plugs. What's him?
Do you think Elon's ever going to run the world?
Well, he's even less involved in politics now after, you know, his entire company dropped off the presidential advisory board.
Yeah, that is true. Dude, I never actually watched or looked at the pictures of the Charlottesville thing. Holy shit.
Yeah, the video from that is pretty crazy. There's some like awesome candid shots.
Yeah,
black dude just like rolling over the car.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Did you ever
he lands on his feet too, like a fucking cat.
Did you ever read Calvin and Hobbes when you were little?
No, I read Alley-Oop, like the caveman.
I don't know what that is.
Sorry, I can't remember. It's been so long, but no, I never read Calvin and Hobbes.
All right, well, never mind.
I'd read some funnies.
I read some funnies.
Yeah.
Bill Car. I never watched it. Where is it? Drone captures Charlottesville attack.
A drone? Well, I mean, that's the thing. There were plenty of bystanders around because it was like a peaceful protest, and some guy was like, "Nah, not today." And, you know, went out and he was like, "Why'd you do it?" And he's like, "I claim ISIS." You know, so you just like
information and video on those reports of that car crash you were looking at in Charlottesville.
Actually, you want to pull it up?
Nah.
Okay.
This video you're about to see is very
send me the link and I can pull it up.
Okay.
Sound does justice.
Beep. Jesus fuck. You know, there's that like ancient, not Mayan thing. I think it's a Hindu or a Buddhist thing that says there's cycles of the universe. There's cycles of everything from like your life up to like a nation, up to a planet, and it's like peace, crazier, and then there's Kali Yuga, which is batshit insane, and it's the longest one. But then Kali Yuga, so it gets like peaceful to crazy to crazy to crazy to crazy, and then at the end of Kali Yuga, it doesn't slowly go down; it goes utopia. And I guess that would be like the technological singularity. But as you get closer to it, things go fucking insane. And I think that's right now. I think we're in Kali Yuga. Like,
seems like it. Kali Yuga is the last of the 4 stages or ages of Yuga
Yeah.
But the world goes through as part of the cycle of yugas described in the Sanskrit text.
Yeah, and it's because I was thinking just like 2016 with all the like the celebrities and shit, and then
It literally translates to age of vice.
a vice.
Vice, yeah.
I just think of like the last 2 years, and I was thinking like instead of just technological singularity, I think we're in the equivalent of like a cultural singularity as well. From fucking Donald Trump being president to like the Cubs winning the World Series to fucking just everything. It just
Yeah.
and this
Cubs
year's been just as crazy. Like
108 years or something.
yeah, like how Green Frog Pepe was put on the Anti-Defamation League list. Like this, it just. I think that's something no one saw coming or considered was as a cultural singularity, where now more batshit crazy things happen in our society every year than what happened in the previous 10. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just
like it's
all builds up. You know, it's just
speeding
like
up.
Collective meltdown.
Yeah, it's speeding up.
You know, like everyone just they need their eye-opening experience.
Yeah.
It's a very own cataclysm.
Holy fuck. I mean, but it's like the question that's posed all along.
Well, like, and then he's like, yeah, I'm done. Peace.
Holy shit. You gotta think, like, people caused that to happen to the front of that metal car.
People what?
Like, the bodies of people are what caused that damage to the front of that metal car.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's what's crazy.
There's other videos. I mean, like, someone actually, like, gets pinned on the front of that car.
Really? How many people died?
Remember? Let's see, more than one.
3 dead, dozens hurt.
Yeah.
34 injured. Jesus
accurate.
Jesus fucking Christ.
It's the new Pluto insanity when you actually survive something like that. They're just like, oh yeah, why'd you do that? You know, ISIS, man. You know, just batshit insane. I don't need justification.
ISIS.
Yeah. My car got declined at McDonald's, and you know, I just didn't have anything else to do. So.
Why'd you do that? I fucking grew up in Valdosta, man. Why do you think I'd do anything?
Well, when I was leaving the house, I stubbed my toe earlier, and it really hurt, and I was mad, so I just ran over a bunch of people.
Well, so, yeah, it's after a long cascade of things after Tommy broke into my fucking house.
Yeah, man. Just really fucked me up when he broke in and just burned the couch. I love that couch.
I can't believe you wrote fuck
He tried to smash the TV and he couldn't.
But he did write fuck you in blood.
Yeah. Weirdo. Who would do that? Yeah.
And he wrote
ketchup.
And he wrote fuck you in ketchup. Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, man, that's so weird. Like, who would do that? Man, that guy's really sadistic.
Man, let's not pay attention to the fact that everything we own is broken.
Don't fuck with Tommy. He'll break into your house and write fuck you on the wall and ketchup.
I kind of like that. That adds to the mystique.
Dude, my freshman year of Valdosta, this was second semester when I had a job. I was working at CVS. Lived in Patterson. I parked across the street from the dorm, and like I'm on my way to work. I'm already gonna be late, like per usual. And I got to my car, and someone wrote, I think they wrote like "fuck you" on my car in ketchup. And I don't know how long it had been there, like at least 12 hours. And I had to drive down Patterson and what other main roads are in Valdosta with "fuck you" on my car in ketchup and on very front. And thankfully, CVS is right next to a car wash, and my fraternity brother worked there. But so like on my first break, I had to like go over there and like get my car washed and get that shit scrubbed off. But that's one of those things that no one ever owned up to it, and to this day, I don't know who did it, and I don't know why they did it.
It's like the CIA giving you money. The
I mean, exactly. I had a honestly, that one's gonna bother me for a while because I mean I'd only been in school for maybe like 7-8 months, and I didn't have enough time by that point to piss off that many people. So I don't know who would have done it. It's not like I went around fucking a bunch of dudes' girlfriends or ratting people out.
Chocolate.
I just assumed that it was some guys that I lived in a dorm with.
I mean, dude, someone came into my room in the frat house and wrote "fuck you" in Sharpie on the wall.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, and like at the same time, it could have just been like a random target. I don't think it was random, but like, I didn't even know like how many people even knew what my card looked like.
It's like Jimmy from It's like Jimmy from South Park when the urinal deuce. Who would poop? Who would
poop shit in the urinal? Who pulled down their pants?
Drop
a bit. Number 2.
Yeah. Who would poop in the urinal? It's such a senseless crime. Did you watch the Halloween one, Jack and Crack?
I don't think so.
Oh, it's where Randy and all the guys have like an annual tradition. They have like a week-long party before Halloween, and they dress up as witches, and they drink Jack Daniels and smoke crack.
It's a Randy episode. Randy episodes are the
best, hands down. Yeah.
Randy's back.
Oh my god.
Or he gets addicted to like getting cats to spray in his face and he gets high off of it. Or the one where he literally turns into a dolphin.
No, Sharon, go.
It's so over obsessed with everything. It's fucking fantastic.
Or I think my favorite part, it might just be when they get Guitar Hero. There's that one like 5-second clip where Randy comes down in the middle of the night, and, like, no one's awake, and he like sneaks down, and like the television is like casting him in like a pale glow, and he like picks up the guitar, and it's like Blue Oyster Cult, Fear the Reaper, and it's
easy.
And it just shows Randy from behind, and he just like lifts up like one finger.
Did you see the young brother died today from AC/DC?
No.
Malcolm Young? It wasn't Angus. It was, but one of the founders, like the main guy behind the rhythmic riffs of AC/DC, founder of their sound. It's like how they were describing it.
Well, I guess the power's gonna be out.
Yeah, man. I never got a chance to see AC/DC though.
Really?
Well, I mean, like they went, like they did Coachella. They headlined Coachella last year or 2 years ago. They never came to Bonnaroo though. So I mean, if I'm gonna see any band like that, like that's a band that they tour and like their tickets are pretty expensive, and I'm not really gonna go out of my way to see them. And that's like how I got to see most of the bands like in that same category, was they just always came to Bonnaroo.
I forgot about Bonnaroo.
Yeah. Tom Petty, Paul McCartney, Grateful Dead, like everyone like that. I've got to see them for free just because they always ride on that train. Dude, one of the most badass things I've ever seen anyone pull at a concert was the Grateful Dead show in Bonnaroo 2 years ago. Or I guess it not this past June, but the June before. Someone drove a fucking 1970s Toyota truck.
Oh, they're going to say through the crowd.
Through the gate into Bonnaroo, like in front of the main stage. And they weren't wreaking havoc. they were literally just sitting in the couch in the back of their truck, getting ready for the show. And I went up and talked to the security guys because, like, I went through the same VIP gate to, like, get to my vendor stuff. And I was just like, hey, did you see that? How did that happen? And there were two of them. They were like, whoa, dude, I don't know. I was like, so what are y'all going to do? And they looked at each other like, we don't know. Like, there's a fucking truck that just drove in past us, you know, like, if anything, they get in trouble for if they like go tell a higher up, like, how did you let that happen? It's like your one job.
Look, buddy, I ain't listening to you. Just last week, you told me you said you saw a bunch of driverless trains in the desert. Now you're telling me there's a truck in Bonnaroo. Get out.
Yeah, just driving around. You tell me that they're not causing havoc, that they're just sitting there on a couch in the back of their truck, just watching the Grateful Dead. Grateful Dead is dead. What are you talking about?
He just sat there and shit his britches.
One side rose above the noise and confusion, just to get a glimpse beyond this illusion. I was soaring ever higher, but I flew too high.
Freaking killing it, man.
Have you ever
I'll be right back.
All right.
Take those.
Once I rose above the noise and confusion, just to get a glimpse beyond this illusion. I was soaring ever higher.
You guys want to hear a funny joke my grandpa told me?
No.
Okay, so this family walks into a talent agency. It's a mother, father, their son and daughter, and a little baby. The father says to the talent agent, "Sir, our family has an amazing act. We know if you would let us perform it for you, you would want to sign us." And the talent agent says, "Sorry, we don't sign family acts. They're too cutesy." But then the mother goes, "Please, sir, if you just give us 2 minutes, we know you'll like our act." So the talent agent says, "All right, you've got 2 minutes." The family
Still watching Randy Marsh videos?
No, have you ever heard the South Park The Aristocrats joke?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know what the fucking history of the Aristocrats thing. It's some joke that's not. It's like not actually a joke. It's just like comedians will try it every once in a while to like unknowing crowds, and it's just like the longest. It's like taking on a life of its own, where it's just like the most vulgar, like basically story about like a talent agency, and you just go until people realize that like you're not telling a joke. It's supposed to be like the most vulgar shit you can think of, like. And South Park took a crack at it, and I used to watch like the 30 days leading up to the MCAT. I don't know why, like working hard, studying hard, like. But instead of like a pump up song, at the end of every evening when I was getting ready for bed, I would listen to South Park The Aristocrats joke. I don't know why.
I mean, whatever helps you sleep at night.
Yeah. Here, I just sent it to you.
Whatever. You wind down and file all the information you learned for the day.
Fuck that time. I was soaring ever higher. Wait, did you pull it up?
Yeah.
I forgot you have.
I don't know if you'll actually be able to hear it or not.
No, I forgot you have headphones on.
Can you hear it?
No, it's all right. You can listen to it. Here, I have.
Wait, this should totally be sharing.
Oh yeah, now it is. Now it is. The paladin just stands there. And now for our impersonation of the victims of 9/11. The building's on fire!
That really is the most fucked up joke possible, crammed into a minute and 51 seconds.
The father pulls his pants down and starts shitting on the baby with a shoving.
Yeah, and then dad pulls the dick out and starts fucking baby. Like, what the hell, man?
Sucking a little baby penis.
Kyle, darker and darker.
Kyle, will you hold on, please?
God, will you let me finish the joke?
Hold on, Kyle.
Brutal, man.
No one's really ever seen that, so I don't get it. I'll be someone interrupts me, but hold on, Kyle.
You're being rude.
Yeah.
Please do not interrupt me.
Kyle, will you hold on, please?
Yeah, should we? Let's talk about some actual podcast stuff.
Okay.
So I watched that Alan Watts video that you sent me the other day.
What if God got
Finally
bored?
watched that one.
What if God got bored?
I watched it twice because the first one I watched was like, no, you need to watch this one, and it wanted me to watch the remastered version, so I just went ahead and listened to them both twice. I mean, it's the same stuff, but it's just like different visuals for it. And I saw that the Zenden 2.0. Why is it 2.0 for that video that you sent?
Well, Zenden 1.0 was the one in our attic.
Yeah, but where's this one?
The 2.0 was when I moved in with Christy the following year. And
Okay.
I moved it over to my house when I moved in with Christy, and it became...
So this was in Athens?
Yeah, it was across
Yeah.
town. And
Gotcha.
moving it kind of destroyed the magic of it. Because the first one, it was in an attic in Georgia and was hot, and there was no bathroom. It was a tinderbox. We were surprised we never burned the house down. But there was like a certain aspect of like magic to it. The second one was like when a corporation takes over a grassroots movement and destroys it.
Right.
That's what it kind of was. Like I put too
It's
much.
like, oh, it's still special. It's like, it's not this thing.
Like I almost put too much effort into it.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe it was just because I was a much more terrible place in my life. But it was cool. The second one had a king-sized waterbed and it had a movie theater, like a projector.
Where do you even find a waterbed?
At the waterbed store in Athens.
They have a waterbed store?
Yeah.
God, they would have a waterbed store.
Yeah. And I got it, and it was
How much are waterbeds? Because I mean, it's basically just like a big old thing of plastic.
yeah. I don't know, but it was I fucking loved it.
How do you fill that shit up?
You have an adapter and a hose. You connect it to.
Just drag the hose from outside in?
It's 500 pounds of water. It's fucking
Holy shit.
dude. It's awesome though.
Hell yeah.
Dude, when we would just get super high, or like, no one knew that it was like a waterbed. So when they'd come in, they'd be like really stoned. I'd be like, you can lie in the bed if you want, man. Like king size bed. We'll throw on some like Grand Theft Auto, and they'd be like, you'd always watch their face. They'd be like, yeah, dude. So any What?
What is going on?
Dude, it was absurd. The cool thing about the one thing I wanted to do is I wanted to get a subwoofer and put it under the waterbed
Hell yeah.
and connect it to the speakers and just have the whole thing like. Dude, laying on the waterbed.
You still have the waterbed?
No, laying on the waterbed after taking a bunch of acid. Was a fucking experience and a half.
Well, it's like those ultrasensory chambers where, you sit in some highly salinated water in like a
Sensory
like an egg.
deprivation tank.
Yeah, those things.
This was different. This was more
It's like that.
No, this was actually
It's
like the opposite of that. Because
But it's like that, except you're just high.
Yeah, this was the opposite of that. Instead of like stripping away everything, there's like lasers and Christmas lights and tapestries and sound, and your entire body's floating and squishing. You were like hyper immersed into your environment as opposed to like completely shutting everything out. But yeah, that was too much because like I didn't know where my body ended and the bed began.
Right.
It was just. Yeah, it was
because it's also fluid motion.
Yeah, and you're 70% water, so it was this odd like.
Right. I am bed.
Yeah, I am bed. Bed as I. Tom, you all right?
Forever sleep in bed. Yes.
Yeah, I just remember laying there with my cat on my chest, and he was staring at me, and I was staring at him, and like he knew, and I knew he knew. We linked up. We linked up in that moment, and I never looked at Hobbs. I like something about him was like he knew after that. There was some psychedelic thing where
he does him up.
I actually have a video of Hobbs when I was in that room. I guess it was before I peaked because I was able to operate my phone without the fucking characters bouncing around on the screen like like fucking cereal or like a alphabet soup.
Yeah.
Oh, whoops. Dude, have you seen that fucking Elsa Gate shit?
What is that?
Dude,
Elsa,
like the Disney character. It's like pizza.
Okay, yeah, that was the only Elsa that was coming to my head.
It's like Pizzagate, but like YouTube, and it's this channel that has like 50 million views per video, and it's just this fucked up shit of all these like pirated Disney characters. It's weird because Disney hasn't filed a single license or a copyright thing against them in like months, even though they normally attack everyone else. And these videos are like eating shit, it's all animated, but it's like kids pissing on each other, like ripping off arms, like wiping shit on each other, like playing dress up with adults. It's like scatological, like torture, rape, dismemberment shit.
But it's all animated?
Yeah, and there's no copyright from Disney, and it's all aimed at kids. Dude,
what the hell, dude?
It is. I tried watching it the other day. Just some like physically sick. I was like,
yeah.
I was like, it is so fucked up. Like, dude, Joe Rogan tweeted it. It's fucked up. Look it up,
Jesus,
dude. Look it up. It's fucked up.
I'll write that one down and maybe go back to that different time.
Never talking to Tommy again.
Yeah, I'm just writing. Tommy is fucked up on this piece of paper now.
Okay. No, that's that. Oh. Once I rose above the noise and confusion.
What do you think about the name Theory of Now? I don't really know the justification behind it, but I think it sounds cool.
Oh, I liked it. I just liked how it sounded. You floated it, and I was like, yeah, all right,
it works. Well, yeah, I mean that's just one of the things. Like with all the podcasts that I've like just been like looking up different names and random YouTube channels I follow and things that they promote. when names like that, like, you know, this like kind of like you know, there's just like no consistency to the name.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, maybe I heard that somewhere else, or maybe that's actually my own original thought. I have no idea which one it actually is, and I googled it. I went on YouTube and I was having to, and nothing like with substance came up. So I was just like, okay, yeah, maybe that.
And
that one actually just came out of my head.
And the thing is I thought Zenden was original. I remember Harrison and I thought it was the best thing ever when we named our attic that. But I've looked it up. There's like, no, it's not like original at all. I found it on like gaming forums and on Reddit. I found it on like YouTube, like kids channels. Like, oh, damn it.
Well, that doesn't mean that.
No. I get.
You didn't come up with it yourself. Because I mean, you know, multiple people can come up with that. I mean, it's 2-3 letter words that rhyme. So
yeah, no, I get that. It's just more in general. It's like, oh, I didn't think I'd see it anyway. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
I guess I'm not that snowflake. I thought.
Yeah, no one else has the same shape as me. Yeah.
Here. Here. This is the one I took of Hobbs. I just sent it to you. This is when I tried to make funny YouTube videos. None of them worked.
Man, we got some good old video camera recording stuff. Killing it.
Dude, I need to find out how to fucking...
Dude, you got a heady cat.
I need to find out...
He's so relaxed in this.
Oh, dude, Hobbs is a dog. You'd come into the house and you'd call his name and he'd come running to you and jump up in your arms. He's the weirdest fucking animal in the world, dude.
Our cat plays fetch.
Dude, he really...
Yeah, Russell, he goes for hair ties. And
Hey, hold on. How do you pull some... How do you...
What, this?
Yeah. How do you...
Alt-tab?
Alt-tab? Wait,
yeah, you have a Mac. Good luck.
Control-tab? Oh, no. Like, how do I pull up my...
Windows tab.
How do I share my screen with you?
Click the dots.
What dots?
Right here.
Oh.
Dots. And it'll bring it up and show you what it's like, and then you have to click share again.
All right, hold on.
When I write just like random sporadic ideas, I always write in all caps.
Really?
Yeah, for some reason I don't like. I mean, like normally, like when I write just like normal scratch, I write normal. But whenever it's just like something that is like at that very moment, like trying to pour out of my head immediately, I always write in all caps for some reason.
Where's... Hey, look, it's Quinn. Oh wait, I need to share it with you so you can. No, we don't want photo booth. Damn it.
So Jimi Hendrix?
What?
That song with the
Okay,
Hobbs.
Can you see my screen?
I see me, yeah.
Okay. I don't want Quinn.
There he is. Look at his jawline.
Oh, dude, Quinn's a sex animal.
I don't like that he smokes in his thing. So. A lot of his photos is like him So,
Yeah, I don't like the message it sends.
Well, I mean, like, that whole sex appeal, I feel like, has been dead for the past 10 years.
Well, maybe that's Quinn's thing. He brings back smoking.
Yeah.
What if Quinn's responsible for like 200 million deaths?
The new Marlboro Man.
Yeah, the rest of mine, I guess the humor was dark. Here.
What brought this up?
Oh, I made these.
Oh, did you? It's like Ants.
What?
It's like the Pixar film Ants, just like with the magnifying glass coming down on it.
Yeah.
That's a great freeze frame right there.
Oh, and then this one I made. Just wait. What?
What was going on in that last one?
It's JFK getting shot.
Oh, are you serious? Or the video quality. Video quality threw me off. Oh my god! What's Luke Wilson saying at the end?
And this is what I made.
Quality Snapchat shit post.
It's my favorite one. Nobody likes it.
It's a very personal situation. That's only half of one piece of maybe 2 ply at most.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be ripping off the actual roll and using it before that.
Dude, I've done that.
Sometimes you have to.
Dude, I've used cardboard.
Yeah, man, it's better than just having the poop butt.
Dude, I remember one time it was my freshman year of high school, and it was like one of the first times I ever drank, and I was like pissed drunk with my buddy Joe in St. Simons, where his dad had a condo, and like Joe passed out in his room.
Oh, this is high school?
Yeah, this is like
you're like 14.
Yeah, this is like spring 2006,
yeah.
And like his dad was like mad at us because he had found that we were drinking, and I was like fuck, and
so dead.
And so Joe like passed out in his room after like yelling at his dad, and his dad didn't even care. In hindsight, it's just like I have to like scold these kids to an extent. And Joe was like fuck you, Dad, and like passed out, and I was just like, I'd only known Joe for like 2 years at this point. I mean, Joe's one of my best friends,
right.
but at this point I was like fuck, like Mr. Udell's gonna kill me. And I was like, so I just stayed in the shower for as long as I could. I was like, I'm just gonna sweat out all the alcohol. And I was like, and I'm actually,
that's how it works.
I'm 15 and I'm like pissed drunk, and I'm thinking I'll just sweat it all out in half an hour. And so I'm in there for like 2 hours, and
is the water even hot?
Yeah. And I don't wanna come out, and so I'm just like pissing in the shower every 20 minutes, and then I
extremely dehydrated.
Yeah, no. Well, then I just I like go to fart, and I just take this huge dump in the shower.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I didn't know where the story was going.
Yeah, and yeah, and I don't know what to do, and it was just fucking already there, dude. So I just waffle stomped that shit.
Just like bent over, like smacked your ass on the bottom of the shower.
No, use the heel. I just used the heel. No, I'm not talking about washing my ass. Like, yeah, I did that. That was the easy part. I'm talking about the log. I just used my heel.
So these are like full on turds, not like running mats.
Oh no, these are like legit, like that's that's a poop that should be in a toilet and it's in the shower.
Yeah, these weren't like the day after drinking shits. This was like, you know, like I had steak for dinner
and like not enough water, like a couple protein bars.
Like those that you might like visibly need a coat hanger to cut up because you're worried that you're gonna clog the toilet. And you're sitting there pressing them down the toilet.
Dude, well, you said pressing them down the toilet?
Or no, down the shower.
Yeah, I want to make that point clear.
Waffle stomping.
Waffle stomping.
Down the shower drain at the beach condo.
Yeah. And dude,
it's totally normal thing to do.
Now fast forward.
Yeah, we all waffle stomp our shits.
We all have, man. You know, we've all slipped up and called our cousins our girlfriend. We've all waffle stomped one. Classic Kazakhstan. But another time was spring break 2010. Yes, 2010, Panama City.
Freshman year.
Yeah, and I went down with Cal and Kellen and Madison, Big Tuna, Grant, Quinn.
I was there too.
Yeah. And
well, I mean, we were staying at Tidewater or Edgewater, one of the two.
I don't remember where we were, but I remember that we were at like the main area near like La Villa. Right. Which in hindsight, none of that was even remotely fun.
Dude, it was not.
It was just getting sunburned, getting sand everywhere, being pissed drunk, dehydrated, spending all your money.
It was hot enough to get burnt, but you couldn't go in the ocean.
No. But I remember, like, you know, obviously you go to the ocean to piss and stuff, but like I had to shit.
It's so windy.
And and it's cold enough too. but I remember there's like this I was with Cal and his friend Stephen Plant from Georgia Southern, and like we went to stand in line at this, you know, the not mile long, but you know, infinitely long line.
Yeah.
And like, I was like, wasn't that like I really had to shit, but it wasn't like that I couldn't wait. It was like, I don't want to. I don't even have shoes. You know, the entire bathroom's just gonna be like an inch of piss.
Yeah.
And like, I'm too embarrassed to go shit in the ocean. So, I just fucking shit in my bathing suit. Straight like.
Why?
Because like I didn't want to go to the ocean, I was too embarrassed, and I didn't want to wait in line, and so
you just pooped your pants
and just kept partying. Just
really,
yeah, not proud of it.
How did that turn out?
Fine, I had a great time. I just when I got
with poop in your pants.
Yeah, you're in a crowd of thousands of people. No smells.
Yeah, but like it would stain and drip down.
Piss drunk. No, it was dry.
So like pretty solid turd.
Yeah, yeah. And then. Another time was my junior year at UGA, and every Friday morning I'd volunteer at Athens General.
Right.
You had to get hospital hours on your resume.
Yeah, of course.
And classic. And on like Friday mornings I'd wake up, and I'd immediately I had to wake up way earlier than normal. So I was always only getting like 2 hours of sleep, so I'd wake up and just take like 2 caffeine pills. Never consumed caffeine like then, so when I did,
like 400 milligrams is a good dose to start out on.
yeah.
Every normal person,
a can of Red Bull's 80, so I would take 2 of those when I woke up, and it'd always just be like meth, and then it'd be like, you know, shit your pants in like a minute.
Well, it's a diuretic.
Yeah. And so like one morning I'd always go take a shower. And it was like one morning I'm there like brushing my teeth and I'm like getting ready as like I'm fucking coming up on meth. And I go to fart. And I'm just in like boxer briefs. And like I go to fart. And I like push. and just, I mean, dude, it was like black mud.
Oh, dude.
Dude, like,
It's like the protein shits, dude.
yeah, dude, this was like hot black mud. And it just fucking came out right on the,
Singed.
wasn't even in the shower yet. It came out on like the tile floor. Thank God I left myself an hour because I was just using wet wipes and Clorox, just cleaning up like an Exxon Valdez oil spill.
I did that within the past year. I showered for work, and I got out of the shower and I was drying off and farted, and I just like immediately shit myself and just got back in the shower. Like, yeah, we're just gonna do that one over.
We're restarting today.
We're just gonna go back to bed after this. So, now going back to Panama City, Tidewater and Edgewater Hotel. I am banned from both of those for life from that spring 2010 college spring break. Just fucking living it up. And the thing about it is, we went down there, and it's like a 30-story hotel, and like 200 people in it are from Valdosta, and I know like at least half of those people. So it's like I never left, and we just do the same thing every day. You go down to the beach and you drink, and then when the sun goes down, you choose someone's room to go get drunk in even more.
No, you're forgetting the like 2 hour long uncomfortable nap.
2 hour long uncomfortable nap because we have like just enough people in the house to make it uncomfortable.
Oh really? We had 11 to 1 room.
11 to 1 room?
I mean, like 1 bed, 1 bathroom, 11 guys.
I mean, we had like 8 people staying in one room or staying in like one place that had like 3 bedrooms, but I was in a bunk bed. And, the first night, like we had the party, like we had everyone over, and security got called, obviously, and we had 36 too many people in our room. I remember him counting because I was standing next to him, like watching everyone go out. And I was like, bye, y'all, see you. And he was like, that's 36. I was like, awesome. And he's like, no, 36 too many. And I was like, oh, not awesome.
That's more than 1.
That was like strike 1 for 36 people too many. It was like, if I see any of y'all again, get in trouble, get kicked out. I was like, all right, cool. So next night, it's literally less than 24 hours later. Chuck and another guy I'm staying with, Scott, there.
Sorry, I was gonna say that Chuck is like Yell's Bohannon.
Might as well be.
Just like two like cooler than the next 5 guys combined.
Yeah. He embraced his.
And you can try to be mean to him because he's just gonna out nice you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he just had embraced, he was like in band in high school, like played drum, and it like came to college. It was just cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. It happened. It worked.
I think if you isolated his blood and like centrifuged it and injected it in yourself, you would be like Jimi Hendrix level, and like Jimi Hendrix, James Dean.
I'm gonna disagree with that statement.
So I'm just gonna not talk about taking my buddy Chuck's blood.
Yeah, the last thing I want to do is give him any kind of ego boost. But yeah, so him and Scott just decided to like go wrestle in the lobby, like in front of the security guards. And they're like, oh yeah, we know you guys, strike 2. And we're like, okay, cool. So they followed him back up to the hotel room and into our room. I'm not there at this point. I'm gone chasing some other girl that lived in Georgia Dorm that was staying down at the same hotel. And I come back at 3 a.m. and notice before the trip we had bought like 7 cases of beer, and so we had over 200 beers just in our room for us for the weekend. I come back, there are trash cans and trash bags just full of empty beer cans, every single one. Over 200 beers crushed between like the 6 guys that bought them. And I'm like in the kitchen because I'm wasted. I'm just like, what happened? Like it's the second day.
It's gone.
It's like like the guys I'm with, like what, like where did they all go? And I look up and Rob Thrower sitting on the couch. He had been asleep. He looks at me and he's just laughing his ass off, just dying laughing. And he's like, "Oh, you didn't hear?" And I was like, "What?" He was just like, "Yeah, man. So those same douchebag security guards from the other night followed us back to our room again. They made us pour out every single beer in our hotel room, and it took fucking 45 minutes of just sitting there pouring beers out. And they were laughing.
So depressing.
Yeah, making shit jokes the entire time.
Dude, I did security again like a couple summers ago in Ocean City. Ocean City is the Panama City of up north.
Yeah.
But I wasn't watching college kids. I was watching like freshmen and sophomores in high school. And I would just go to each room like at the beginning of each week, and I would just tell them like, I have no problem like getting you kicked out. It makes no difference to my week. But
yes,
I was like, if you guys just be quiet, like I know you're drinking. No, just don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. I know you're drinking because I did it when I was your age. Just don't do it, because if you don't do it, I don't have to tell my boss, which means my boss isn't going to flip out. Because I had never read any of the Harry Potters till 2014. I was like, right now, I'm balls deep in Hogwarts. Like, y'all stay there. I'm going to read right here, all right? And they're like, cool. Dude, no problems. Like, all week. I learned a completely different method than working at a bar. Instead of, like, trying to strong-arm everyone, I just used, like, diplomacy.
Yeah, you just control the situation. Let them work with you.
Except I worked with a guy, like Ivan from Bulgaria. I worked with another guy who wasn't big, but he was a tall guy named Prince Blakosh from Kosovo. He grew up during like the Kosovo.
From where?
Kosovo. He grew up during like the Kosovo-Serbian War.
Okay, so it's an African country.
No, it's in East Europe. He grew up in a legitimate.
Serbia's definitely not African.
Yeah, he grew up in a legitimate war zone. His dad was a journalist that was like against the invading forces. And they broke his dad's arms and legs and threw him on his front lawn. Yeah, he survived. Like,
Jesus.
Yeah, Prince loves America because he just remembers U.S. Marines like stationed outside of his house every night. And Prince is the man. And Prince is like, I'm hurt so bad that I remember playing football with them on pavement. I was like, why would you play football on pavement with Marines when you're 10? And he was like, I love America. Like, but so Prince, who was like
very American, yeah.
Yeah, so Prince is like, there's like the ghetto, and then there's growing up in an Eastern former Soviet bloc war zone. That's what Prince was. And I hadn't yet taught Prince the way of diplomacy with them. I was like, look, man, it's a lot easier if you just work with them. They don't want to get kicked out. You don't want to get yelled at by your boss. Scratch my back, I scratch yours.
Just tell them what's up.
And so we go to one place one night, and there are these kids being douchebags. And I'm like, all right, we're these kids, like, we're going to have to throw out. And I was like, and that's fine. Like, don't be afraid to, like, put your foot down. So we open the door, and it's these, like, cocky, like, 15-year-olds. And it's like, all right, fuckers, like, look, like, you're going to leave. Like, my boss is coming. You're going to, and this, like, 15-year-old kid, like, pushes me. I'm 24 at the time. But again, I'm now old enough and as far removed from all of it that, like, I don't care. I'm just going to wait for my boss. I don't give a shit. Like, if I was 18, I'd be like, oh, I'm going to beat up this kid.
You want to go?
Yeah. No, dude, I want to get back to Harry Potter. Like, but Prince takes nothing. And every day I brought, like, a sandwich to work for Prince, which I didn't think anything of. But from Prince, grew up in Kosovo, that is, like, it's like Eurotrip. Like, you give me dime, I start my own hotel chain. Prince is like...
It's a peace offering.
No. But this was like, I was treating Prince like royalty. Prince was like, you bring me sandwich every day. I tell my parents know of you. All hometown knows of Tommy. And I was like, well, shit, man. I don't really worry about that.
Life-changing, man.
Yeah. So Prince is behind me. I am now Prince's main man. So the kid pushes me, and I'm like, all right, dude, it doesn't matter. Prince shoves me aside and pulls out this fucking switchblade. And grabs the kid. I fucking skin you. I'm like, Prince, no. You don't
skin him.
Don't skin him, Prince. And yeah. No one fucked with us again. I was like, Prince, damn it. I was like, God damn it, Prince. I brought him over to my house to watch a soccer game one time and meet my family. And it really is like, you see like the wow and like difference in wealth. Because he came in our house. taking pictures of it. Take a picture of me in front of your house, and he was doing like like a hood because we had 2 cars, and it was like that's the equivalent of like 2 Lamborghinis. And he came inside and like couldn't believe that we had like multiple bathrooms and a refrigerator, and I was like, damn, what am I bitching about in life?
Oh yeah,
Prince is the man, dude.
Relativity, man.
Yeah, seriously. And like fighter jets flew over at one time, and he like stopped talking and like stood up and just saluted the sky, and I was like, man, you appreciate this country more than I do. Like, Jesus fuck.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Prince is the fucking man.
Well, I mean, when he thinks fighter jets, he's got a whole different scenario going on.
Oh, dude, it's
going
like
on in
fucking
his head.
PTSD rocking. Like,
Yeah.
I skin you.
It's like, all right, he is literally ride or die. So
Yeah, like legit. Like Ivan on July.
you better murder this 15-year-old.
Yeah, on July 4th, 2011, when I worked at Secrets. Let me see if I can find a picture. I worked with Ivan, and I like was trying to take down this big guy who just punched his girlfriend in the face.
So you show. I know who Ivan is.
Yeah. But this big Guidosaurus Rex guy just punched his girlfriend, and so I'm like, fuck. So I'm trying to take him down, and I jump on him. And this guy could fucking kill me. And I'm riding around on his back, and I can't pull him down. And Ivan came up, and Ivan's the Terminator, so Ivan just one punched this guy. But that was different. Prince was legit ride or die.
It's like a soft jab. It's, knock the guy out.
Yeah. Let's see. I have some pictures from that summer.
Classic.
21 in that. Me and my brother's girlfriend. My brother John, his girlfriend. That's the bar I worked at, the huge bar.
Peace, police.
Yeah, that's me looking like a retard.
Yeah,
A retard.
classic.
That's when I looked like fucking.
You in your long-ass bathing suit.
Yeah, that's when I fucking looked.
Might as well be capris.
Yeah. Me, where's... That's the bar I worked at. So, it's fucking huge.
Bar/ocean.
Dude, it's the 5th largest bar in the world.
It's badass, man.
Yeah. There's me at the beach with wild horses. There's the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's where I worked.
I like how you take all these like relationship photos and it's not even your girlfriend.
Yeah, it's my brother's girlfriend. I'll take pictures with you, Don. Yeah, we used to.
Tommy flexed a little extra harder that day.
Tommy flexed a little extra, yeah. No, dude, I was 20 that summer, and fucking I hated it because you're just a little baby.
I was still 20 and still felt like I was grown up.
I want to show you the. Wait, no. Yeah. Is it still sharing my screen?
Yeah.
Remember what I told you about?
Yeah, the Marine.
The Marine that made me wear shit.
Full uniform.
Yeah.
This was New Year's Eve, right?
Yeah, 2012.
That's wild.
That was our hotel room. It's Wiz Khalifa's playing down there. There's, I think, Bohannon maybe? Just me and Cal. There's we taking our duck lips picture. And I don't know any of them. I just woke up with that on my phone. Who else? Yeah, Bohannon was there. Yeah. Cool.
Man, I love taking random pictures with like huge squads that are not anybody I know. When I was in New Orleans, I took a picture with this group of like 15 black girls. I was the only guy in that photo, and none of it was on my phone. It was only like on their phones. So there's a photo out there of me with
just photo bombing.
Yeah, no, they said you get in the photo. I was like, all right, cool.
Oh, fuck yeah!
But I don't have photo evidence, man.
There's Bohannon's friend who played for the Giants.
Yeah, I was about to say, who's that guy?
there's me with what I thought was funny at the time, but I can now see that bouncer probably didn't. Another person I don't know. Callan, Madison Square Garden. I love that picture. Oh yeah, did you ever watch Hey Arnold when you were little?
Yeah, of course.
Do you remember Dino Spumoni?
Yeah.
You better not touch my gal. Kellen was singing that every night. He'd get all fucked up and you better not touch my gal, or I'll punch you in the kisser, pal. Oh yeah, and instead of signing our names, we just draw stick figures of Quinn sucking dick.
Very nice.
Yeah. There's Quinn sucking Dirk Nowitzki. Stephen Quinn.
I always.
Oh yeah, our first hour in New York City, Zach got out of the cab and he opened the driver's side. I don't know why he went and opened that door, and another car
The
came
driver's
up.
door?
Yeah, I don't know why Zach did it, but he came over and he opened the driver's door. I don't think he was kidding or something. And another car went by and ripped the handle off.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Oh, and there's me and my brothers.
Quinn.
Oh yeah, this guy.
I didn't make it up, I made it popular, and it has become a crowd favorite. So enjoy.
Oh, he's good.
Yeah.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. Come on. Anybody clap? Thank you.
Somebody clap.
Yeah, I just remember someone kept yelling instead of counting down to New Year's. They kept yelling, "Mom, the meatloaf!
Mom!
Meatloaf! Meatloaf! Fuck!
Yeah, we won it!"
Yeah. Yeah, I remember Kellen got mad at me because he and the Giants guy were the Giants guy. Where they kept ordering bottles for like hundreds of dollars each, and I kept pouring like shots and glasses we already used, and I'd put them on trays, and I'd walk back into the kitchen where all like the poor Mexican guys are, and I'd be like, "Shots!" And so all these guys were like, "Hey!" And then they come take shots at me, and I just remember the guys were like, "Yo, we're spending like hundreds of dollars on these bottles," and I was like,
They're like, we're balling out.
I'm
But
sorry.
I mean, like,
I was going and doing
it's
like
not physically possible for the six of you to drink,
yeah, so
whatever the hell they're buying. So.
yeah, so I was like, I'm gonna go do the equivalent of like Titanic when it's like you want to go see a real party and they go to like the underclass. I was like, I'm gonna go party with the Mexicans in the kitchen.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, dude, they're awesome. What?
They're the ones living it up.
Yeah, man.
Dude, where does Kellen live now? Is he back in California?
Yeah, he moved right back to LA, and fucking
Of course.
like within a year had like is making like multi hundreds of thousands of dollars a year.
Why did you go to Valdosta?
I don't know. Like I remember when I first met Kellen, I was like,
Was it like
I
a
was like,
football whim? But no,
no,
he
this
was
is his
in
roommate.
football, like earlier,
I
because he
was-
was like 29 when he
Yeah.
started.
I just remember thinking like when I first met Kellen, I was like, after like a week of knowing him, I was like, he's one of those guys that doesn't need a degree. He can just go talk. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
He's someone that could make that fuck you money through a loophole.
Yeah,
My final conclusion is he knew that, but he was like, I'm gonna get the college experience. I'm gonna come.
I think that's what he wanted.
Yeah, I'm gonna come
That's
to-
what he said when he was going through.
I'm gonna come to Valdosta, Georgia. I'm from LA, so I'm gonna come to this town, which is basically like a piece of scratch paper. I can just go fuck
Mhm.
around and then leave. And I think that's what he did, and he had an absolute blast.
Yeah, he did.
I picked up a lesson from Kellen in Valdosta, and it was he'd start ordering drinks, and he would just tip like 1,000%. And as the night went on, the bartender would
sort of get the gist of what was going on. And when you guys tap at the end of the night, it would just be $0. And it's because Kellen could order like $500 of drinks, but he would tip. Normally if the bartender got like a $20 tip, Kellen would be tipping like $200.
Like 100. Yeah.
So the bartender would just take the $200, clear the tab.
Write everything off, and
it's a win-win.
Pocket that.
Yeah, win-win. Bartender gets $200 instead of $20, and Kellen only spends $200 instead of $500.
And he's not sitting around waiting for drinks, because as soon as they see him, they're like, "That guy, I want more money."
Yeah, well, I picked up that lesson from him, and my senior year, it was. I actually just watched the video earlier. It's 5 years ago tomorrow. I was telling my friends is how I used to fake my 21st birthday in Valdosta all the time in suits, but at this point I was 22, and I was like, let's just wear a bunch of suits. Oh, and speaking of the SR-71 Blackbird, I was like, let's just say that we're like young, successful, we got that fuck you money, we work for Lockheed Martin, we're defense contractors, high ups, and I was like, we just wear these suits and we just sell it as convincing as we can. We just fucking full commit, like jump out of the plane with your parachute, like it better work. Like we just commit. And we go up and we go to City Bar in Athens in our suits, and we order like one round of drinks for like $10. And we just throw him 50, and we just tell him to keep it. And he now remembers us. The rest of the night, he's gonna choose us for drinks, and every time we got an open tab open, and we know he's tracking $0 because he knows he's gonna get a couple $100 at the end of the night.
Yeah.
Let's keep this good. But city bars, or the bars in Athens, are much bigger than they are in Valdosta. There's not one room where you can see everyone.
Right, they all have upstairs, downstairs,
Yeah. Yeah, and so I was like, we do that. If we get preferential service from a bartender.
I've been to City Bar.
Yeah, we get preferential service from a bartender, and at some point in the night, we'll just bounce. Because we hadn't had an open tab yet. They weren't charging us because they knew at the end of the night we were just gonna like slip them a Benjamin or something. And
right.
So that's not gonna work. And it was with Benji and David and Pat Robbins and Ed McCrary, and I was like, yes, it will. So we all put on just these like black suits, comb our hair over, get all shaved up, and we keep talking about Q3, quarter 3, how we just had sick profits. And we're back.
Yeah, I just got my Q3 bonus.
Yeah, and we're here for the game this weekend. We're here to represent the dogs. Because we still know how to get down, even though we're business guys.
Right.
And we just fucking sell it balls deep. And so we go there, we do that, and we buy like $50 worth of like watered down shots the first like couple minutes there. And it works. And we do that, and for like 2 hours, we were just drinking like kings, and then we just walk out the fucking front door. So between 5 guys, $50 is $10 a piece. We drank hundreds of dollars and had preferential service on a Thursday night on a game day weekend.
Game day weekend.
Yeah.
Crowds pouring in.
Yeah.
The students have already tapped out for the week.
Yeah, dude, it was brilliant, if I say so myself.
That's the way to do it. And when I was in Athens back in I guess March was the last time I was there.
Uh-huh.
One of my buddies, he was like, hey, I work at this bar in Atlanta, and our company owns both of these bars.
Oh, can you see this?
I'm going to come back and serve drinks to my friends, even though I don't work here. And they said, okay. And he literally just went behind the bar and served us drinks for like 20 minutes and poured like 80 shots.
Really? Can you see this?
Yeah.
Oh, that's suit night.
That's suit night.
It's my buddy in med school, law school, and that's David. Yeah. Except no, he didn't work for Lockheed Martin. He was CIA, which is why he didn't wear a suit. He just wore black. And his nickname, we all had different names. He was Slade. That's David.
Slade.
David was Jerry. I was Thomas. And
Slade.
Yeah. Oops, there's Ed McCrary and picture with our black friend that we met.
Damn, Tommy.
Yeah, look how white I am.
Vampire.
I think this picture is fucking hilarious. Because you can see our buddy Ed, right?
Yeah.
You see his face. What's Ed looking at?
I don't know. He's got something about to come out of his mouth.
Who the fuck is that guy? Look at Ed's face. Look where is it?
Titty bar. That's where we were, where my friend was doing all or pouring all those drinks for it.
Really?
They have like 2 booths right when you walk in on the left.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we were.
We I remember we went
a bunch of UGA players downstairs doing cocaine in the bathroom.
Really? Because we were in the bathroom downstairs drinking.
I convinced one of them that I was a millionaire, and he said, "Oh, awesome." And he handed me his phone. He was like, "Put your number in here. I'm always trying to make connections." And he gave me his phone. This is a football player. And he walked into the bathroom and just started doing a bunch of blow with my buddies from Atlanta. And so I'm just sitting there holding this football player's phone. And I'm just like, I don't fucking want this phone. Like, you're not Nick Chubb. I don't know who you are. So, like, his big-ass bouncer football player buddy standing right next to me just making sure shit didn't go down. It's just like, here, give it back to dumb shit. I'm going back upstairs.
Just put your number in.
He didn't say anything. He just took the phone and was like, oh.
Just put your number in as Elon Musk.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm always trying to make connections.
Yeah, I'm always trying to make connections.
We did the suit thing another time on New Year's 2013, I think. And it was the same thing. We all worked for Lockheed Martin.
As well. Is this New Year's Athens?
Yeah, what else would we do?
I don't know.
The same group, like a year and a half later. There's our buddy Benji. We had him dress as Benji was the intern.
Yeah, he looks like an intern.
And then where's our
wear a blue shirt, you fucking intern.
Yeah, and then where's we had our buddy Billy. Fuck, where is it? I don't know where it is, but yeah, I think this is it. We had. As I said, you kind of look like him right now.
I kind of do.
Yeah, Billy was blackout Billy. He drank more than anyone I've ever met in my life, and
it's impressive.
Yeah,
because you drink a lot.
He's smart as fuck, and Billy was the billionaire CEO of Lockheed.
The guy who just decided he didn't have to wear a suit anymore.
Yeah.
Last semester.
Where is it?
Did you graduate in 2013?
Yeah. Here's from a interview in Miami. Chromed out Lambo.
Jesus.
Yeah. That's what my buddy Mike made. He made
$200,000 mirror.
Yeah.
Dead now.
Yeah, Mike's the guy that did all the. Here's another one I don't remember. I think Cal sent me this. It was from some pledge.
I mean, do we got these little pledge classes?
Sorry, I thought it was hilarious.
Fucking Gumby outfit, man.
Did you guys ever make pledges steal cardboard cutouts from fast food?
No, we just stole them ourselves. Dude, New Year's Eve 2013 going into 14, I'm pretty sure. Went to, or it wasn't New Year's Eve, it was right before, Base Lights in Hampton, Virginia. Base Sector Pretty Lights and a couple other people playing. We went to Subway before the show, and that's when they had the giant Michael Phelps cutouts of him, you know, like holding the footlong sub, like an actual like life-size photo of him. And we just asked them if we could have it, and they were like, no. And they're like, well, we're gonna take it. Are you sure we can't just have it? And they're like, honestly, I don't give a fuck. You know, the guy working there makes $8 an hour. It's like, you guys can take it. I don't give a shit. I'll just say that you stole it. I'm like, all right, cool. So we stole it, and we cut off like the bottom half, and we took it to the Bass Nectar show. And like everyone like has their own totems, like you know, like creative totems. We just had this giant fucking Subway thing that we just got from Subway, and we rocked it the entire time. And after the show, Lauren Bass Nectar came down and was signing an autograph, and like, he called us from afar. And he was like, "You Subway guy," and like we like ran to the front. He's just like, "I've been laughing at that shit all day," and he grabbed it and he like drew glasses and like evil mustache and like devil eyes on Michael Phelps and signed it. And I'm sure I can find a picture of it, but yeah, like my friends actually like kept it and like made it into a totem afterwards, like actually like put like devil eyes, like little lights in his eyes, and like actually like put like an actual totem on it. But
that's amazing.
Cool fucking experience, man.
I just remember we had like a 8 foot tall Colonel Sanders at Purple Haze one year, and all the girls were like, "What's that have to do with like the '60s?" And we were like, "Everything." And it was just this
doesn't matter.
It was just this huge fucking Colonel Sanders like 30 feet up on the side of the chimney, and it just said, "Eat more chicken." Did you ever hear about the giant, it was either Zaxby's or Chick-fil-A, the giant chicken in Athens that was stolen by a pledge class?
Are you serious?
I mean, like 35 feet tall, like weighed like 1,000 pounds. Like they literally had to get like a trailer and like 2 trucks and like hooked up chains to it and install it. It was like
that's highly impressive.
Yeah, and I remember hearing about it when I was in Valdosta, and it was, and then like, fucking like 3 years later, I'm in the Zen Den, smoking with Harrison, and we're trading stories about pledge ship, and he goes, "Yeah, man, I'll top your like frat house story. I helped steal a massive Zaxby's chicken." And it wasn't like, and I blew the weed out of the bowl like all over him. I was like, "That was you."
That was you.
I remember us gathering around, and we were like, "That is impressive. Like, we need to do that." And he was like, "Yeah, they came to like the Beta Theta Pi house the next day because of this giant chicken, and they threw a tarp over the top, but the tarp barely covered the head, so it's just this giant fucking chicken, like, barely covered." Yeah, it's like a dog hiding by putting his head under like a shoe or something. And they were like, "You need to return that," and they were like, "Yeah, like okay."
Yeah, but it's too late. You already committed to it. Yeah, so here's the photo.
Is that Quinn?
Yeah.
Oh, here, go back.
It's what? The wedding photo?
Yeah, I thought that was Quinn. Or you can't.
Oh, no. My buddy Harry right there?
Yeah. No. Yeah, all the way to the left. Second to the left. I thought that was Quinn.
Oh, no. No, if anyone looks like Harry, it's probably Harry. No, that's my buddy Peter. Harry. But yeah, they both kind of resemble him.
That's,
Yeah, he signed it and he drew fucking eyes on him and shit.
That's
The
fucking.
mustache.
It's fucking amazing.
It's pretty tight.
Yeah. Let's talk about some like friends we could have on.
Well, I want to have my buddy Shane on.
Okay.
Who?
I mean, we could have
Yeah,
literally
it's-
anyone. I'm trying to think of who would do it.
Well, yeah, I think Shane would be. So because, like, I would honestly, yeah, I want like just like funny friends who
Yeah.
can talk about something, but I also want them to like, have something to promote and like stories that they could easily share too.
Yeah.
And I mean, he just finished kayaking the entire Mississippi River.
Oh yeah. I
with
forgot.
with as much kayak experience as me, which is like, yeah, like every 4 years I might kayak.
I might kayak on a July 4th weekend.
Yeah, exactly. But him and another guy, I've got a buddy who just finished med school, and his first year of med school, he still went to like 7 music festivals and did a lot of drugs that he probably shouldn't have been doing while in med school, and he probably shouldn't have gotten in med school in the first place. And all of his teachers told him that he wasn't going to graduate, and he fucking graduated. And now he's practicing, and his name is Rocco Romeo.
That's amazing.
Doctor, he sent me an email on or he sent me a Snapchat today of an email he got, and he said I laugh every time because his name is Dr. Romeo. Yeah, it's self-absorbent. He eats that shit up.
Yeah, I remember when I went to my Miami interview, my buddy Pat, the guy who did the Lockheed Martin night with us, Slade, the CIA guy.
Yeah.
Pat Robbins is the single smartest human being I've ever met in my life. Like, bar none. A freak of fucking nature. Studied for the MCAT for 3 weeks and he beat me. And he's a fucking genius. Graduated with a perfect 4.0 in college, was in a band, partied like an animal. It's one of those people you're like, fuck you and your brain and your 11 out of 10 girlfriend. Like,
yeah, man.
Fuck you, Pat. But he went to Miami Med School and he didn't take a year off, so he went straight to it. So I stayed with him after my interview. And it was like a Friday night, and I remember it was like after their first exam, and I went and stayed with him. And he's like, we're going to a party, and I was like, I didn't know you guys had time to drink. I thought it was just studying nonstop. He's like, it is. And like I went to this room they had at, it's in Miami, so it's obviously it's just looking over the ocean, and it's beautiful. Dude, he has their entire class, their entire MS1 class. So it's like 150 kids in this one tiny apartment. They've got kegs in the tub filled with ice.
Holy shit.
Dude, yeah. Just fucking smoking weed. They've got coke. And I was like, they're going just as hard as I was in college. And he's like, yeah, we have less time to do it. So they just go that much harder.
They got to.
I was like, holy shit, I never thought about that. And here are these kids, and like some of them had their white coats on. And they're just fucking like, they're just like
they just came from the library.
Yeah, and they're like beer bonging and like ripping blunts. And I was like, this is the coolest I've ever seen. And I was like, holy shit. Like, it was like the underside that I never saw, and it was beautiful.
Well, I mean, like, that part of you, it never really leaves you.
Yeah, don't suppress it or you'll break into a frat house.
Yeah, exactly.
The animal comes
and
out.
Like, you need that release every now and then.
Yeah, the animal will break out.
And honestly, like, an experience like that, like just that, like that relief, that that 6 hours of feel good or whatever,
yeah,
is more encouragement to progress through the next week and just like help process all the information.
It absolutely
is a brain dump.
It absolutely is. I remember it wasn't until
it's a turning point,
It was the semester leading up to the MCAT that I finally decided I was like, like, I'm so sick of studying. I'm just gonna go out
Yeah.
instead of going out once a semester. I was like, I'm going out once a week. I don't care what my grades are. Like, I'm gonna shoot for straight A's, but I have to go out one night a week, get blackout drunk, smoke a ton of pot, eat shitty food. Like, I just need that. And
Yeah.
And not only did
It's
I
just
get
like a part of the weekly cycle.
not only did I get a 4.0 taking genetics, physics 2, and calculus, and biochemistry, but that was also the semester leading up to scoring a 35 on the MCAT.
You know, you
It's
study
because I-
harder during the week. You
Not
get your
o-
shit
not-
done,
not
and
only-
just know,
yeah,
like,
I
come
was
that
just-
Friday, you're going out and you're doing that.
But that's what it was. It was like knowing that you had that every week. It was like,
Yeah.
okay. Like,
Instead of studying 7 days a week, you study 6 days a week, and then you go balls to the wall that other day.
yeah, fucking, you just go nuts. And it was like,
Yeah. I deserve this.
yeah. Dude, like, yeah.
You should be paying me.
Yeah.
Give me $5 for a beer.
Yeah, it was. I remember that's how it started with the suit night. Was
Yeah.
It was like I was just studying so much and I couldn't do it, and I was like, my friends had gone out like Thursday and Friday already, and I was like, guys, let's go out, and they were like, no, dude, we're just like smoking tonight, and I was like, guys, I haven't gone out since like this is in November. This is 5 years ago tomorrow, and I was like, I haven't gone out since like July 4th. I was like, I'm going with or without you guys, and they're like, dude, I'm sorry.
I just need someone.
And I was like, all right. Well, I'm not going out then. And my friend Benji was like, you know what? No, we'll go out, but we're going fucking nuts. We're getting blackout. I was like, I can't do that. I gotta study tomorrow. And then David was like, we're going out. And I was like, I'm not going out. And they're like, whatever, dude. And I was like,
Fuck it, we're going
I
out.
thought they wouldn't call my bluff. And I was like, all right. If you guys put on suits with me and pretend we work for Lockheed Martin, I'll go out with you and we'll spend all the money we have. And so Benji leaves and comes back from his room like 2 minutes later. He's got a suit on. He spritz some cologne on. And he was like, nut up. And I was like, all right. And dude, and that's how it cascaded. It was that weekend. That weekend made me start to realize just how fucking much I hated pre-med. Like, really, like that, like, and because I had so much fun. Like, it was
how much you love other things.
Yeah, it's an extraordinary, unhealthy amount of fun. From like it was a fun night objectively, but like to me, it was like the
Like
best thing.
Superman's
I just
fun?
won the Super Bowl. Yeah, like I'm going to Disneyland, and I remember the next day, hungover, but I was having so much fun because I wasn't studying. And my friend CJ, the one who we chased the carjacker with, CJ's like, you know what, Tommy? He's like, he's like, one thing I've always said about you, dude, is like, you give an impressive amount of little fucks. But number two, I've never seen someone so happy not doing what they're supposed to do. And I was like, that was pretty profound. And he was like, I think you fucking hate your lap, man. Just saying. And I was like, fuck. And like that made me 2000 section. And like that was the seed planted in my head, and it was just like, oh no.
He knows.
Yeah. And when I was supposed to start, I planned on studying all Christmas break, and then Kellen called me and was like, what's up, Big Pimpin'? What's up? What's going on, man? What's going on? Good looking. Yo, we're going to Manhattan. We're going to Manhattan. Dude, let's do it. You got that Christmas money? And I was like, yeah, I think I'll do that. It was like this weird, like, what's happening? And yeah, and then the next semester, and then it just snowballed, and yeah, and then that's where I am now. Sitting, I don't know if it worked out yet, because I'm living at home at 27.
The story's not finished.
It's not finished yet. I sure as fuck hope not.
Literal and metaphorical. Finish your fucking book.
Finish that, yeah. I have a bunch of... I got a bunch of websites last night, and I'm going to start submitting, like, rough drafts to, like, basic ideas. I'm going to use that Reddit post I made, which is, like, a very... It's basically
Very
like... It's like, this is what it's like, kind of thing. I don't know if you saw,
Right.
I added a ton to it.
I mean, I went through it, and like, I mean, you even like commented.
No, like right before we started this podcast, I added like
you added more.
I added like 10 like maxed out comments to it.
Gotcha.
I'm just gonna take that and I'm going to start sending it and being like, this is like a pretty accurate outline of what it would be. And it's pretty absurd. And I don't know if you looked at that thing I sent you. I don't care if you didn't. My trip report of the 12 hits of acid and ounce of shrooms.
No, I didn't get that one to pull up.
Yeah, that one I'm actually going to use to tie in because that was like a very instrumental part of it. So that's our, but the purpose of that is, it's not that I wrote about the trip report, is I wrote that as like, I'll write. Like it's full, descriptive, flowery, like super like in-depth, like how something finished would look. It's like an example of my writing and
Right.
how I said my
Have you sent this to any company yet?
what?
Examples of your work so that you can get fronted on your book, so you actually have some.
No, I need to do that, which is what I realized because I made that. It started when I made a post about the Zen Den the other day. I found something called Trip Caves, and I was like, oh, these are pretty neat. Other people have Zen Dens, so I just posted one, just like nothing. And then someone invited me to this, like, I guess, private sub, and it's some people are trying to make trying to use a loophole, and they're trying to start a religion to use psilocybin. And I was like, fuck yeah, man. And
Hell yeah, dude.
and the guy was like, yeah, man, I saw a post about your Zen Den. He was like, I figured you gotta be in. I was like, fuck yeah. And he was like, how'd that?
You know,
He was like, yeah. He's like, classic. he's like, you know, he's like,
classic guy I just met.
yeah, classic stereotype of him. And he was like, how did it start? He was like, you just decided to make that? And I was like, actually, because everything leading up to it had to deal with like losing my brother, going back to Athens, and then like we needed this. Like I kind of wanted this room to go like relax in because I'm in the wake of this horrific experience. And I was like, well, shit, like you can't explain the chicken without the egg. And I was like, so I kind of explained what happened beforehand. And I was like, yeah, I kind of got to explain how the Zen Den spiraled off into it became its own. I said, like, I thought I built it, but in hindsight, I can see that it's its own sentience. And it just used me as a host. It infected me and was like, go buy a waterbed and lasers. I need to grow.
No.
It ran off weed smoke and shrooms. Come in here.
Remnants of your bank account.
Yeah. And so I started. There's nothing in there that's not from a thrift store, which is the most impressive part. I think that the original Zen Den might have been built for less than $100.
That's surprising.
Yeah, and so I started explaining that, and he was like, "Dude, that's really like a pretty impressive story, man." And I was like, I wrote that on the toilet, and I was like, maybe I'll just go post it and get motivated. And I was like, that might help some people because
What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, I might lose my internet points, and
Exactly.
and God forbid, and I was like, all right, well,
not my karma, no.
Dude, I saw some guy pointed it, just said one comment was, "Holy fucking shit, you're such a liar," and I was like,
yes.
I was like, well, the thing that would make a story great is that it's unique and it's not something you see every day. That doesn't mean it's
even
fake.
If you're a liar, you're just a storyteller.
Yeah. And it doesn't help that I posted links and pictures and videos of everything I cited. And,
Too long didn't read, but you are a liar.
Yeah. Look, I'm not going to listen to a word you're saying or analyze it or give it any original thought, but I can tell you through and through that, look, I didn't read it, but I can tell that you spelled things wrong.
I've spent enough time on here to know that this isn't real.
Yeah. And another guy kept messaging me and he said, like, wow, you do anything for fucking attention. And I look at the account and I go, I haven't made a post with this account in like a little over a year.
Yeah.
And even that, it was just annually I'd go and post my pre-med study guides when I knew all of them were taking the MCAT. I was like, I don't even use this account. The reason I never deleted it was like sentimental value. I've had it for like 6 years.
Too much post history.
Yeah. But otherwise, I just make accounts and keep them for like 2 months and then just get rid of them. I don't want to be like, because like I'll go in and like have like true arguments, and I'll be like, I don't want like people being like, oh, is that Tommy? Oh, dude, I didn't know you felt that. I didn't know you felt that way. And whatever, like politics, I don't like. I have my opinions, but I like to keep them to myself. I don't need people being like, oh, so that's how you feel.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah, I just
Getting in deep with that mental state from, just like you on like one like verbose rant from a night where you didn't really know if you even supported your own opinion the next day.
yeah, wasn't sure.
Like, time to change the numbers at the end of that account.
Wasn't sure if I was just fucking coked out and drinking Everclear. No,
Yeah.
we need to invade Yemen.
What's that mean? Nah.
Let me tell you why we need to invade Yemen. More drones. Tommy, you got a pretty dark foreign policy. But
Apparently so.
yeah, I posted it, and I got a lot of like private messages or saying like, like wow, like that really helped, or like yeah, I was hooked on like heroin, or like I lost a sibling to suicide, and I was like, and I was like, what? Like I need to start submitting it sometime or another, and I was like, might as well just find.
Well, it's a way to practice submitting things, and I don't know how you would start submitting work to publishing companies, but just anything along the lines of the 100-page story that you sent to Reddit,
yeah,
send that to someone who may down the road want to publish your book, or give you some kind of money to do
any
front trying to do right now.
Because the thing is,
fucking anybody that will sit there and listen to you.
Exactly, and because the thing is, it's been like off and on, kind of going here, and like my parents have been cool because. It's not like it just all that stuff ended when I got home. Like more shit went on. Like I don't know if I told you, for like 2 months I was freaked the fuck out in the spring because I had a growing lump on my testicle, and I was like,
freaked me out.
And I was like, fuck, came this far. I'm gonna get taken out by ball cancer, and
or you'd be the guy with one nut.
Yeah, solo nut. And,
but I mean, it seems like you've done a good job at finding ways to funnel your rapid thought system that you putting it on paper has worked extremely well for you.
Yeah.
But figuring out like what to do with all that work, it is it seems to be that roadblock that you could use some professional help. Figuring out what to do with it.
Yeah, it's like the niche that Google served. We had all this information on the internet, but no one knew how to index it.
What do we do with it?
Yeah. The really smart kid, Pat Robbins,
yeah.
His uncle had an idea for indexing the internet in like the 90s, but like couldn't get funding. Yeah. His uncle fucking created Google.
Yeah, should have done it himself.
His uncle also was also funded by NASA because he was the first one to ever cryogenically freeze an animal and then bring it back to life.
Holy shit!
It was a parrot, but they ended up dropping his funding because although the parrot lived. It was frozen for a week and then came back. It turned into an angry psychopathic parrot. Like, some biochemical processes went horrifically wrong. Like, neurotransmitters never really got fired again. They said this thing would, like, try to rip off its own leaves. It shit. Like, went bad shit. Should have been dead.
Cockatoos and other birds like that they're highly emotional animals that, like, go through severely depressive states and manic states like that. So I could only imagine what killing one for a week and then bringing it back to life would do. Yeah. Put it in like this zombified, I shouldn't be here anymore state. What the fuck has happened for the past however long,
A timeless interval. Has it been a week? Has it been a billion years?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, he's probably freaking the fuck out, He's a smart parrot. He doesn't know what just happened to him, but he knows that it was probably something fucked up.
It was some fuckery.
Yeah, and he's still mad about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's gonna, poop and shit and rip out his own feathers because he's insane.
Yeah, it's like a self-immolation, setting yourself on fire and protesting the Vietnam War, except he was ripping out his feathers and shitting.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but anyway, like Google, I need to take all that work I have and index. And that's one thing I do is I never delete any of my writing. Like,
why would you?
What?
Put it in the folder and call it, Tommy's Crazy Thoughts.
Well, and that's the thing is some people do, I can't find it. Like, dude, I have ideas where I'll write them down at a bar, drunk, sophomore year of college, and I'll pull it out 5 years later and be like, perfect puzzle piece. Like, I used, like, an update I made on the post today was like a realization I had about, the nature of now in meditation and, like, the flow of time.
but it was like 6 months after my psychedelic experience, and I
Yeah.
had this like manic flood of ideas and just wrote like 5 pages on my phone.
That's how it came to me. Like when I was at Valdosta, like just like literally like manic flood of ideas. Like I got stuck on cosmology and like the formation of our solar system and like mass that's given off through the sun's radiation and like how that like terraforms into like dust clouds and planets. And
Solar winds and shit.
God, yeah, it drove me fucking insane because it was so mind blowing.
Dude, yeah, fucking Tesla would always talk about, not comparing us to Tesla because we're dumber than his testicles, but yeah, I had a half-baked idea about meditation on drugs. I'm not Tesla creating time machines and shit. But Tesla used to say that his ideas, he said they weren't his. They said he was a conduit for a greater knowledge, and he would just have these bursts of creativity. Like I said the other day, Aldous Huxley in The Mind at Large. You aren't you. Your brain is a spigot, and the mind at large is a water tank the size of the universe. In normal everyday life, you're just a spigot dripping consciousness out. And if you stay up for a couple days in a row, or if you take a bunch of mescaline, what you do is you break the spigot off for a couple hours, and
He loved that shit, didn't he?
What?
Mescaline.
Yeah. And yeah,
weren't they self-medicating in Brave New World too?
Yeah, but that was Soma. That was like a Xanax alcohol pill, basically.
But yeah, it's a muscle relaxer.
Yeah.
Paracetamol or whatever.
Yeah, it was just supposed to make you dumb and happy. But Huxley loved mescaline. There's in Doors of Perception, Huxley said took some mescaline, and like basically one of his friends interviewed him, and he was just fucked up. And you're just answering these kind of. He was saying when he looked at a bookshelf, his friend's like, let's do spatial orientation. Like, I'm gonna point at a couple books. Tell me which one's the biggest. How far apart they are. He was completely off. But what Huxley was saying, when they later went back and looked at the information, the books that were the biggest were books that Huxley was like, oh, well, that's the topic I'm most interested in. And so, like, what he thought were, like, these big books, and they'd have, like, elaborate gold lettering, and then books he didn't care about were, like, these pamphlets. But it'd be completely off. Like, a dictionary would be a pamphlet, and then, a notebook would...
Synapses crossing.
Yeah. And then Einstein, too. Einstein, when he talked about relativity, he'd say that they'd come to him in these insane meditative states, and he'd say it was him being contacted by, like, another life, where he'd be like, I'm not thinking of this. Like, I'm being shown special relativity.
Channeled out of his head to paper.
Yeah.
It's happening so fast in your head.
Yeah. And that's, like, dude, when I was peaking on all of that, the acid, like, like seeing, like, the nature of now and, like a fast-forward time-lapse gif of, like, what I said, like, dirt and rocks turning into trees, turning into houses, turning into civilizations, and then, like, whoop, and then you were born, and then you live, and then it was like, it's like the Zen Den didn't just happen. There was years of shit leading up to it and years of shit after it. It was like your life, okay, you live for 80 years, but there's like 500 years before you, and like 500 years after, of like your generations that you leave and the effects they have. And I was just like watching that whole thing play out, and like I was like seeing the earth, and it was like, what I just took as like hills, like yeah, Athens has some hills, they're great for running. It was actually like, no, like like there's like tectonic plates and shit, and sedimentation deposits they're changing, but they're changing on a literal geologic pace that it goes so slow it's imperceptible to you. But if you were to fast forward time enough, you could watch hills moving like waves over thousands of, if millennia went by in milliseconds, you would watch entire mountains, and you'd watch the Great Plains just going like woo, 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 and it was like everything is in a constant state of like wiggle. And it was just like too much. It was just it was just coming in all at once. And it was like, oh, that's why we're not meant to see all that at once. You're a fucking little stupid
because your
brains
brain
would get
literally
fried.
explodes because it can't.
Because yeah,
process
I'm
that
having this
information.
mindset, but I'm sure if someone came in the room and looked at me, I was like, ha ha ha.
Yeah. Season out.
Yeah.
There's some great time lapse videos of like rivers changing formation and decaying and like building like acquiring like entirely new estuaries and just completely
Really?
different routes and everything, just like over, just from like earth decaying and things like that, just natural process.
Jesus. I wonder what the best time lapse are, or like the longest one is.
I don't know, this is one like taken from Google Earth that
Oh really?
I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Oh shit.
See if we can find the link. I mean, it's a pretty popular video. Let's see.
Dude, how long until? I guess never mind. Probably gonna exist for the government. I was gonna say until we have like live Google Earth.
Yeah, look up Google time lapse Zaragoza River. If you just type in river time lapse, it's like the first thing that pops up.
Zaragoza. Holy shit.
Yeah. It's not even the one that I was thinking of, but I mean, it's a really good representation of it.
Yeah, how like if you move things up or slow things down a certain or whatever necessary orders of magnitude, everything's flowing and it's like weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the Bill Hicks quote, man. Oh wait, I can do it on here. I forgot. I don't have to send things to you. I'm becoming smarter.
But you send us something on Facebook.
No, I'm gonna pull it up on here. No, it's from Valdosta.
How about a positive LSD story? Wouldn't that be newsworthy just once, to base your decision on information rather than scare tactics and superstitions and lies? Just once. I think it would be newsworthy. Today, a young man on acid realized that all matter is merely energy condensed to a slow vibration, that we are all one consciousness experiencing itself subjectively. There is no such thing as death. Life is only a dream, and we're the imagination of ourselves. Here's Tom with the weather.
Fucking Bill Hicks, dude.
Classic Bill Hicks.
Classic. How do I...
You have to go back to the...
Yeah, dude. Bill Hicks, man. Valdosta, Georgia.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, dude, he died at like 33 from pancreatic cancer.
Shit.
Didn't even tell any of his friends. He told him like a week before he died.
Selfish fuck.
and he speaking of you looking like Billy, we should have Billy on. Billy's one of the funniest people I've ever met. I was trying to find a screenshot text from him from one night where like we were in Atlanta and Billy got lost from us and went the wrong way, and he ended up in like Buckhead, and whoops, and
Did he accidentally take an Uber 15 minutes north?
no, what? No, we like walked the wrong way.
Okay.
And because Billy's from Boston, and like we couldn't find him, and I woke up to a bunch of fucking texts, and they're amazing. I love it.
Dude, one of my New Year's I spent in Auburn, and it goes to those like next morning texts that you get, and it was from my buddy who I was meeting up with, or that I like spent New Year's with, and I just knew like he left.
Yeah.
I was just like, all right, he's fine, so
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep enjoying my night. The text the next day was, hey man, I had to go to the hospital last night, but it's all good. My aunt's come to get me. No explanation at all. So called him the next day. I was like, what the fuck happened? And he was like, man, the bar we were at, I slipped on the ground and I fell and I cut my hand on some glass. Like I gashed his hand open. I had to get like 8 stitches or something.
Jesus fuck.
From a beer bottle. And while he's telling me this, I'm going back to my night, and me and my other 2 buddies that I was with, one of them accidentally dropped a beer on the ground, and it smashed on the ground, and they all started laughing. And then my other buddy had his like full beer in his hand and just smashed it on the ground. And then next thing you know, we've smashed like 4 beer bottles on the ground. It's late. We're just fucked up, and so like we leave the room, and apparently like 5 minutes after this happened, my other buddy Tom walks in, slips on the beer that we just spilled on the ground, falls and cuts his hand on the glass that we just shattered. So yeah, that one was on us. Just spent the night in the hospital, and we partied in his city, in his bars. Had a great time.
Dude, there was a really weird coincidence one time. I was picking my friends up in downtown. I was the DD because I had no life and studied. And we're driving back, and we're like taking this right turn. And there's this kid trying to beat like the crosswalk, but he's not even beating it. He can't walk. It's just not there. It hasn't been there for several seconds. There's traffic. And I'm driving, and this kid he's just running across, and I was like, holy fuck, and I like slammed on the brakes and hit him, and he like rolled up onto my no, it wasn't us to hit him. We saw a car do this. We slammed on the brakes because we're behind the car, who also slammed on his brake, and this car just hits this kid, and he like stands up, and he's, I'm good, and the car was like, what the fuck, and kept driving. So we pull up, and I was gonna be like, hey man, are you alright? And we're pulling up, and I'm like, hey man, and then my friend that I picked up, Chris, is like, Bush? Alex Bush? And it's his friend that he hasn't seen in forever. He's the friend of our friend's older brother, the kid that was dressed like an intern on the New Year's Eve night, his friend's older brother. He's like, Bush, get in the car. Bush was like, oh, all right. This kid's just pissed drunk, and he gets in the car. And I was like, Jesus Christ, man. I was like, all right, yeah, we'll take you back. And he's like, I was like, Chris, is this your friend? He's like, yeah, this is my friend Alex Bush. I was like, what's up, man? I'm Tommy Kerrigan. And he goes, oh, man, I know your brother Charlie. We're boys. And I was like, really? And so we start driving back to our place, and we're just talking. And we're pulling up to my house, and he goes, no way, you live here? I lived here last year. And I was like, what the fuck? And like, now I remember Benji's older brother David did live here. I don't know who his roommates were. And he goes, yeah, man. And he's like, oh, cool, we're going upstairs. And he's like, they're just following and talking. And I'm like, oh, fuck, all right, I'll have some beers with them. And we're like, following. He's like, yeah, man, you mind if I like use your bathroom? He's like, oh, wait, does your bathroom have like some little holes in the wall? I was like, yeah, it looks like there was an airsoft battle. And he goes, yeah, I was chasing David up here one night. We were really fucking coked up. And like, he jumped in the shower and like threw the fucking curtain across. And I couldn't get through. So I started shooting at the wall, hoping they'd bounce on him. And I was like, I remember thinking one day in the shower doing like CSI work. And I was like, it looks like there was an airsoft battle. And he probably couldn't shoot through the curtains.
And that's what that was.
Yeah. And he goes, oh, nice, man. This your room? No way, dude. It used to be my room. And I'm just like, I need to go buy a lot of. I need to go buy a lot of.
I just saw you get hit by a car. I don't even know who you are.
Yeah, and I texted my brother Charlie, and he was like, "Oh yeah, man, tell Bush what's up." And I was like, "What the?"
Casual.
Yeah, it turns out he was 2 years above me. Went to the same high school as me. Played football with my brother Charlie. I was like, "What the fuck?" And another time, like a year prior, we're at my buddy Zach Cambia's place in downtown Atlanta, who I don't know how the hell he was an art major at Georgia State, but he has this.
Probably pays $2,000 a month.
Dude, this place had to be way more than that. This place was balling 43 floors up, like insane. And we're playing beer pong one night, summer after freshman year, and someone swats it, and the ball just goes just right off the balcony down into like the pool area. And these kids are like, "Hey, we got your ball," and we're like, we've lost several that night. We're like, "All right, we'll come down." So we send like 2 friends down, and they're talking, and one of my friends has on a Pius shirt. They're like, "Hey man, we graduated St. Pius like 2005," and they're like, "Oh man, we graduated 2009." So we were freshmen when you were freshmen in college. We never were there at the same time. They're like, "Cool," and they're just pissed drunk, and I guess my friends are like, "Well, come on up, man." And they're like, "All right." And
well, good to fucking say it.
And so they come up and we're talking or whatever, and it like gets going, and I'm talking, and like we're out there and just drinking, and like we get talking, and eventually these kids like, "Wait, what's your last name?" And I was like, "Kerrigan." They're like, "Is your older brother John?" And I was like, "Yeah." They're like, "Hey man, like back in like 2003, like your brother and I were in a band together." So I text John. I was like, "Do you know a so and so?" And he was like, "Oh shit, man, he was my drummer." And I was like, "Man, I'm convinced we live in a simulation. This isn't real."
Yeah, I got a good coincidence story for you. So I'm back in my hometown, LaGrange, Georgia, and it's like 2012, and I'm hanging out with
classic
my buddies.
2012.
Classic 2012.
All about that LaGrange.
Hanging out with my buddy Sean, and I mean, like, we love.
What was his last name?
Riggs.
Oh, I was gonna say one of my brother's friends. They played football with. His name's Sean O'Toole. Went to LaGrange. I was like, holy fucking shit.
Wait, Sean O'Toole?
Yeah, big guy.
Yeah. I don't know.
Fuck you.
Kidding.
Fuck you. You just got me so excited.
So we're at this random apartment complex, buddy of a buddy, and joking about like funny shit that happened in middle school. And I was like, "Hey man, you remember Mark Yates?" He's like, "Yeah, of course I remember Mark Yates." And I was like, "You remember that time Mark Yates wore flip flops to school, but his flip flops broke, so he duct taped the flip flops to his feet and just walked around with flops like that?" And I was like, and he's like, "Yeah, man, that was crazy shit. Like, I can't believe you did that." And he's like, "It's funny you mentioned Mark Yates. He actually lives in this apartment complex." I was like, "No way." And he's like, "Yeah, he actually lives right up there." I was like, "No shit." And he's like, "Oh wait, he's actually right there." And we look up, and he's just sitting out on his front porch smoking a cigarette. And he's like, "Who the fuck y'all talking about me?" Like, man, we've been sitting telling stories for like 30 minutes.
What's
and
up?
like Mark just came up.
What's up, guys?
He's like, "Oh yeah, I remember Mark. Yeah, dude, he actually lives in this apartment complex. He actually lives right there. He's actually right there."
Yeah. There he is.
I hadn't seen him.
Dude, there was the kid that knew Alex Bush is my friend Chris Daniello, who didn't know anyone in Georgia, went to school, grew up in Philly, and just decided, "No, I'm going to go do something new for college." So he just picked a party school, went to smart as shit, you can just do that. And he just came down to UGA, got to know my friends freshman year. And then when I transferred there, I got to know Chris through osmosis, and I ended up living with Chris my senior year.
Nice.
And Chris and I are hanging out. It's like, I had met Chris my junior year, but I was also still a studying machine, and like met him once or twice. So, but it's like senior year, and I'm acting more like a normal human. And we're hanging out one night. It's just him and I, and we're like drinking and smoking. And I was like, "So why are you in Georgia?" And he was like, "Huh?" I was like, "I don't know what high school you went to." He's like, "I'm from Philly." And I was like, "Just chose Georgia?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, Probably should have known that. And he was like, "Yeah." And so we were just talking, and he was he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "My freshman year," he's like, my roommate was this kid named Jacob. And I was like, "Jacob Demet?" And he was like, "Yeah, you know Jacob?" And I was like, No. I was like, my friends Cal and Dan from Valdosta, they went to a high school called Stars Mill, and
I guess Jacob went to their high school because I met Jacob Dimmitt through my UGA friends one time when Cal was up here. Cal was like, "Oh, what's up, man? I went to high school with him." And I was like, "Oh, that's weird." He's like, "Yeah, I know Jacob. He was my roommate." And then I got to know David and your friends because we were on the same hall. I was like, "Oh, small world." And he's like, "Yeah, I didn't really know anyone at UGA." And it was like, so it was only like a month or 2 months into school. And Jacob said he was going down to Valdosta for some Halloween thing. And I was like, "You went down to Valdosta, Georgia?" And I was like, "Dude, that's where I transferred from." And he was like, "Oh, no shit." He was like, "Yeah, man, Jacob's friends with this girl named Abby Spacel." And I was like, "Dude, I knew her." He's like, "Yeah, she invited me. She was asked to some like fraternity party, like Undertake or something." And I was like, "Dude, that was Pi Cap's Halloween thing. I was a pledge." And he was like, "Really, dude?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, but I was sick that night. I had like a horrible cold, and I like had fractured my wrist. So the brothers like let me go home and sleep that night." And he was like, "Oh shit!" And he was like, "Yeah, I remember, like Abby's dorm sucked, so we went and stayed at Jacob's friend's dorm, Cal, because Cal was a pledge, and so his dorm was empty that night because Cal was out driving brothers around." And I was like, "You were in Cal's dorm?" And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I was directly one floor above Cal's room. Like I could like hit the ground in Cal's." I was like, I was just sleeping in my room that night. He was like, "So you and I were just literally like 10 feet apart." I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Huh?" I was like, "All right, cool story, man." Oh, okay.
Funny how things be like that.
Yeah, funny how things be like they do.
Damn, yeah, y'all were literally like 20 feet from each other.
Yeah, so cute. My great uncle was
Your grunkle? It's casual. Yeah, me and my grunkle.
Me and my grunkle. Don't interrupt me. My grunkle. Cal, will you hold on, please? Grunkle, will you hold on, please? my grunkle bunkle. He was on D-Day. He was like 18 and like stormed the beaches of Normandy, Omaha Beach, and he was in the Navy, and I guess after like the European theater, he was in like the Pacific theater, and their ship went to rescue this other ship that like ran out of fuel, just like never got fucking supplied, like resupplied. Mm-hmm. And they went to like tow it out of where it was because they knew like an enemy armada was going to be coming through there like a week later. Anyway, so he's at, do you know what Holy Adoration is? It's like the Catholic Church. It's like the Eucharist. It's like some special ceremony during some part of the liturgical year where like you don't leave the Eucharist alone for like a week, like 24 hours a day. Someone's in there praying. It's something. Anyway, he's in there. He's like 75, and he's in there talking, and there's some other guy there, and they're both wearing like their veterans uniforms. They get talking and talking and talking. Turns out my uncle threw the rope to him.
Holy shit!
In 1944, fucking Pacific Ocean. Isn't that insane?
They're in the same church, same city.
No one else there, just them two sitting in a pew. Just
like, you tell me there's not a higher power in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I am the higher power. Don't you ever fucking forget that, kiddo.
Yeah, but I mean, like that's some faith, destiny right there.
Dude, I'm telling you, man. We live.
You don't need to read a Bible when something like that happens.
Dude, we live in a simulation. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah. It's wild.
It fucking like. I watched a video the other night. There's some guy, Neil deGrasse Tyson's interviewing him.
Yeah, I just finished his books for astrophysics for people who don't have time.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Is it called?
It's short too. I mean, you could read it in probably 2 or 3 hours.
Really? I got a book of his called Into the Black Hole. I started reading a bit ago.
There might be I don't think it's a free ebook, but I mean, you can get it for like $10. It's awesome.
Fuck yeah.
Let me grab it real quick.
All right.
Yeah, I mean it's a small act, but like I bought it when I the flight and I had one layover on the way to Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
and I read the entire thing like on the way to Atlanta. It's a good read.
Fuck yeah.
It's been like top.
The
I think it
idea
was
of the
New York Times bestseller for a couple weeks.
Really?
I mean, it's Neil deGrasse.
observer.
Where is it? Okay, hold on.
You see, living in one reality or another, I just live in the larger reality.
People probably over the course of the next few months.
Yeah.
Right, you're blocking the message. Not
Equations that
situated you to consciousness, situated you to avatars. Make sure.
leads you to a set of equations that are
Okay.
Well, because that's possible.
But I
Pictures you realize that information is at the core of our existence.
when you then try to understand these pictures, you find out that buried in them are computer codes, just like the type that you find in a browser when you go surf the web. And so I'm left with the puzzle of trying to figure out whether I live in the Matrix or not.
Wait, you're blowing my mind at this moment. So you're saying
We're an individuated unit of consciousness playing a total immersion virtual reality game wherein our avatars make choices and appear to have physical bodies and live in physical space.
Are you saying your attempt to understand the fundamental operations of nature leads you to a set of equations that are indistinguishable from the equations that drive search engines and browsers on
Yeah.
our computers?
That is correct. So,
Wait, I have to just be silent for a minute here.
Information is the meaning, the content, the message, not the media, not the code symbols.
So you're saying as you dig deeper, you find computer code writ in the fabric of the cosmos.
into the equations that we want to use to describe the cosmos, yes.
Computer code.
Computer code, strings of bits of ones and zeros.
It's not just sort of resembles computer code. You're saying it is computer code.
It takes a consciousness to get the information. Information requires a consciousness.
Time to go home, I think. I'm not, where are we going to go? So are you saying we're all just, there's some entity that programmed the universe and we're just expressions of their code?
Well, I didn't say that. Some of those,
Like the Matrix?
Some
That's
of-
what you said.
to answer your question more directly, I have in my life come to a very strange place because I never expected that the movie The Matrix might be an accurate representation of the place in which I live.
Quinn.
What? Okay, go in. Dude, isn't that crazy?
Dude, it's wild. Bunch of ones and zeros.
Yeah. It's it. Yeah.
Cosmic stretching shit. I don't know like what kind of equations that they're actually talking about.
Yeah, I do
Deep
what?
cosmic code.
Yeah, but I was listening to there's apparently a thing called error correcting code by a guy named Claude Shannon, a mathematician that invented it in the 1940s or discovered it, and they're talking about how it's the same thing that like software and search engines use to like run statistical anomaly or just run statistical analyses and like run it to an end to see what would happen or something. And they're saying that in the future, as the singularity goes on for infinity, eventually the entire universe might become a computer, and it might become so powerful it can like right now it takes the most powerful supercomputer in the world something like, and I could be completely wrong on this, but something like a week to accurately run a simulation of 1 minute of a protein folding at the molecular level. So choose like any random protein in your cell and whatever, like a ribosome or a sarcoplasmic reticulum, whatever. Model it to accurately down to the atomic level, and then see how it behaves for a minute. It takes a week to run that minute simulation, or what it would do over a minute. They think of
because there's so much variance.
Yeah, and so a computer, they think it will become more powerful enough, godlike, that it could accurately run the entire life of the universe down to, the infinite level. So it would be Planck scale. If a carbon atom was the size of the solar system, Planck space would be the size of the spaces in a screen door. They think it would be able to run a simulation to that level of resolution for billions of years. And it would be able to do that, and it would have an indistinguishable preservation or recreation of reality. And it would have that forever, and it could run it like you could buy a movie. Instead of seeing it once in theaters, you could watch the movie at home whenever you want.
Right.
And that life right now might be that simulation just playing.
It could be.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
What the fuck?
It's deep shit.
Yeah, man. That's why I couldn't fucking work in an office from 9 to 5. I can't justify it anymore, man.
Yeah, Tommy, I'm gonna hit the hay, man.
All right, faggot.
I'm up tomorrow. Hit me up.
All right, dude.
See you, bro.